in the second with a 29.69. It's the fastest time so far this morning. And Lexi Mulcahy in for second, Sierra Kaufman for third. So great swim there, really motored home in that second 25.
And quite a big PB for a 50, so almost 0.4 there for Wheeler to take out heat number 3 there in that 29.69, fastest time so far.
And it wasn't a start where she, you know, almost a bit of luck or everything went well. She swam it.
So heat number 4 in the water now. Plenty of spots left in the 13-year-old final. That 14-year-old final looking very tight as we come along in this 50 backstroke. So motoring through here is those girls in those middle lanes. So Mulcahy in 4 doing a great job. Ever so slightly caught on that lane rope. Demille in lane 5. A strong effort here as she heads under the flags. Now she'll get her hand on the wall first in a 31.03. Ong there in that second position from lane number 2, that 31.75. And Mulcahy from lane 4 will get that third hand on the wall, so 31.81. So 31.03, that top mark from Demille there, as we move along now to heat number 5.
Swimmers just getting set on the wall. Their feet on the backstroke ledge there, just to give them that extra bit of grip. Very high start there from Tanelli Smith in lane 4. But after a very strong butterfly section, she comes up first and is heading off Pettigrew in lane 3. Bierman in 1, looking good, as well as Velichkovsky in lane 7. In fact, I think it will be between Van Aswegen out in 1 and Velichkovsky in 7. She gets there in a 31.20. And Van Aswegen out in lane 0, 31.86. And Pettigrew, 31.91. Great swims there from the outside lanes, lane 7 and lane 0. Fairly outside and coming home with the goods. "13 heats in total this morning and not quite halfway through. Looks like we've potentially got something. I can see the officials just chatting on the other side, and we'll just check whether one of the times is out or whether someone has made an infringement. The warm-up pool with all of our swimmers warming up for their various races, and the coaches looking on to cheer for, support their athletes. There's a real buzz here. It's been a fantastic week at the Australian Age Championships. Record count. What do you think, Emily? 15, 16, maybe 17 records?
I feel like we are at...
We had another, was it 3 last night?
We had 3 last night, but then I believe we had 1 in the morning too, so 4. And I feel like we were sitting at 12 before that, so...
Somewhere in that mark. It's quite a lot of national records to fall this week, as the times are official for Heat 5 and Heat 6 now in the water.
There's only 0.1 between all these ladies in this field, so we'll see some really tight battles here in this 50 backstroke. Looking strong as they come down that first 25 metres. 25 metres left to swim, looking strong out there. Kang in 3, trying to stay on top of that lead. Mazboot there from lane 5, looking very strong, coming down under those flags now. It's a battle with 3 and 5 as they come down to the touch, and she gets it 30.86. Kang in that second position, 31.25. And third from Wiggins out of lane number 8 in that 31.81. And she's pretty happy with that result. A big PB there, so that 30.86. So a great job from our St. Peter's Western athlete to take out that heat number 6. We move along now. Heat number 7. 13 heats of this, so much depth here in the 50 backstroke, especially in those younger age groups.
You can see those flags. Look how crazy they are going in this morning. It's those flags completely still, but moving around the finish end completely still. The wind really throwing some curveballs as we move into the second half of these heats. Heat 7 of 13. Really fast start there from Willow Bone in lane 6. Got the best of the underwater. But now up and stroking is Chloe Zhang in lane 4. Moving over that lane rope, just getting her right shoulder caught a little bit on the lane rope, but doing a good job to hold off some strong battles from Aikman, Bone, Ford and Buchanan on that side. Zhang gets to the wall first, 31.64. Second on the wall was Aikman, and Witten out of lane 9 in for third. So just getting a little bit caught on the lane rope. It is tricky here in this outdoor pool. The sun isn't quite directly above the pool. We're early on in the program, but it still throws a little bit of extra challenge towards our backstroke swimmers, and definitely in that direction.
Well, it works well for the 50 that the start end is moving and the finish end is perfectly still. So it's great for these races.
I think sometimes, does it make it easier to see when it is moving around? It's almost, calling for a bit of attention.
Heat number 8 in the water. Some strong underwaters from these ladies here in this 50 backstroke. Some great reactions off the block. The best of them, Mortimer, out there in lane number 4. 25 metres left to swim. The battle holding this race together and not running into that lane rope. So trying to stay centred into this lane, looking strong out there. Vinicombe in lane number 2. The battle here as she gets onto the wall. We'll see those times come up. Vinicombe gets it, 32.05. You in that second position, 32.13. That third spot. Waddell there from lane number 8, 32.24. So a fantastic swim from that lane number 2 there. So that time, 32.05. That top mark from heat number 8. And a half-second PB there. So great swim as we move along now. Heat number 9.
Ninth heat in the water. Nice long underwater there from Sophia Vincorp in lane 9. And up and stroking well, all of our swimmers. Looking good in lane 2, Sienna Smith. Indiana Coates going with her. Claire DeWar also in lane 5. Emma Needon out in lane 0, actually looking to have the best of it as they come down to the wall. And it's Hannah Jameson, 32.37. There's 5 100ths in front of Emma Needon in lane 0. Third was Hayley Cam. So all over the place in that race. The middle lanes not getting the best of it, and the outside lanes taking advantage. So only a few heats to go. 13 in total, and heat 9's times are official.
Great starts off the blocks here in this heat number 10. Strong, long underwater from our swimmers there. Sun, the best of them in lane number 7 as they power down that first 25 metres with 25 metres left to swim. Looking strong is Sun from lane number 7 as she just gets caught on that lane rope. as they come down under the flags now. She's trying to hold the swimmers out, but looking strong is Mally in 5 and New in 4, and New takes it in a 32-2-4 over Mally there in that 32-4-2, and hang with that third position onto the wall. 32-6-1 Sun in that 4th position. So a 32-2-4 to take out heat number 10. So a great swim there from our athletes. Some big PBs, especially in these 50s. So fantastic to see as we move along now. Heat number 11 in the water.
Three heats to go here in the girls 13 to 14 years 50 backstroke. And heat 11 up nice and swiftly. Ivy Rameau just held back a little bit on that start, and the others making a big charge now in the middle of the pool. So Aaron Lee and UR Lee next to each other, 4 and 5. Also Waterhouse out in 2 has probably got the best of it. Waterhouse gets there first, to 31.87. And Aaron Lee in front of UR Lee for second and third. Fourth wall was Kate Better out in lane 0. And we do love those outside swims, but Penny Waterhouse the first to the wall. So 2 more heats to go. And we move into another 50 sprint, the boys 13 to 14 years 50 freestyle. So we love the 50s, powerful and dynamic, and a chance to make those finals for our 13 and 14 year old athletes.
In the water is heat number 12 here of the 50 backstroke. Pang really strong off that start in lane 8. Best of the underwater, best off the block. And she powers down this 50 backstroke. 15 metres left to swim. Those ladies in the middle lanes now really battling it out. Dredge looking strong in 4. But ever so slightly in front. Dudson there in lane 6. Sun in 7, just taking over the lead, and she has it on the wall, 33-2-6. Dudson in that second position, 33-3-9. And Dredge from lane number 4, 33-5-3. So 33-2-6. Taking out heat number 12. As we move along now for the 13th and final heat of the 50 backstroke. Only 3 ladies in this one. So a great battle.
Final heat underway. And last chance to make those finals. Love the underwater there from Chloe Merton in lane 3. Very, very powerful, and now up and rating really fast. That aggressive stroke I love to see. And all 3 of them absolutely flying down this final 50 metres in this event. Rebecca Wright just coming through in the last section to touch the wall first, a 32.81 to finish off our heats. Merton's through in a 32.92 and Akan a 33.36. So our 13 to 14 years 50 backstroke is done. There are the results for that 13th and final heat. A summary of the top 10 fastest heats. Now this is a combination of 13 and 14. They will be separated out to their respective age groups, and they'll go into A final and B final, top 10 and 11 to 12. As we move now into 11 heats of the boys 13 to 14 years 50 freestyle. So interestingly here, Campbell Watt, our 14-year-old, is our fastest qualifier, 24.03. And he's just outside that record of Kyle Chalmers, 23.18. If he was 1 year younger, he'd only be a 3/100ths of a second outside it. So just showing how quickly they progress. As first heat underway, and a really nice fast start there from Xavier Tay. Campbell Watt probably having the best of the breakouts and charging in front. Dylan Z trying to go with him. Hunter Bastow looking strong as well. But it will be Campbell Watt down to the wall with a very nice lead. A 24.10 takes out the first heat. Xavier Tay in second. Dylan Z in third. And Hunter Bastow in for fourth. So those times super important for their place in tonight's final. And that is one of the best with a 24.10 to take out the first heat.
Be interesting to see if in tonight's final he can crack that 24-second mark for that 50 freestyle. I know from heats to finals of those 50s, the boys have struggled to improve because the heats have just been so tight. As we move along here, heat number 2 in the water, battling it out for a spot in tonight's finals. So 10 spots up for grabs in both age groups as they're powering through here. Wang looking very strong and moving well through this 50 freestyle. He is motoring down under the flags now. He'll touch the wall first in a 24.50, smoking in that second position from lane 3, a 24.69. An error there in that third touch on the wall, 24.81. So a fast time there from Wang to take out heat number 2. And he just looked on form and powering through the water. You could see that water just going over the top of his head. He was moving so quick. It was a big bubble. As we move now, heat number 3 at the blocks.
Take your marks.
Now that lane rope wind showing how windy it is there at that end of the pool. I don't think it'll affect our swimmers as they come down. Great start there from James Pilbeam. Probably got the best of the dive and the breakout. Also looking good in lane 3 is Benji Linus. He had a very strong start and is going right alongside Ishak Ismail, who will touch first, a 24.67. Linus in for second. Morris in for third. And Boston Wilcox touches fourth. So third heat swum. And I'd love to get some a bit of a debrief on that race from Ismail, but he is a man of few words. So we'll wait until next time.
Heat number 4 in the water right now, 50 freestyle. Only 5 13-year-olds so far, including this heat, so plenty of spots left up for grabs in tonight's final as they come down to 15 metres left to swim. Anyone's race at this point, looking strong. Brown in 4, Wang in 3 as they come down under the flags now. Who's going to get their hands on the wall? It's Liam Blair from lane number 8, 25.39. Paul from lane 7 in that second position, 25.42. And Brown third to the wall, 25.47. So results of heat number 4, 25.39.
Take your marks.
Heat 5 in the water with a few missing lanes. Opportunities are plenty now with less competitors. Hutchison looking good in lane 4. Davies going with him. Strong start from Jeremy Lau in lane 8. And Brian Chow up there as well. James Hamblin out in lane 0, almost by himself, but right up with the leaders. It's Chow in first. Lau in second, Davies third. Hamblin gets up for fourth. And Hutchison in the middle with a 26.01 gets in fourth. So Brian Chow takes out the 50 to 25.60.
So move along now. Heat number 6 at the blocks. So including this heat now, only 8 13-year-olds have been so far. So still plenty of spots in tonight's 50 free final. And the boys are away here in this 50 freestyle. So heat number 6 now. Smith powering through on this 50. He was a little bit slow off those blocks, but is really working through this 50 freestyle. Looking strong out there. Hatchard in lane 0, coming down under the flags now. Blanket field. And it's Smith that gets his hand on the wall first. 25.97. And a 3-way tie for third position. So Richardson in first, in that second position, 26.05. Then 3 of those boys sitting at a 26.07. So it was super tight to call.
A 3-way tie for third, and then 100th of a second back for 6th. So only a couple of hundredths of a second separating about half the field. That was a very tight one to call. So after one of the tightest battles on the program all week, Heat 6 is swum. Heat 7 now in the water. And very fast start from Xavier Gray in lane 3. He looks to have the best of it. McCormack and Hogg fighting it out in lanes 0 and 1. But it'll be Gray with a 25.33. McCormack in second. And Boozendenhout in lane 5. A 25.96 for third place. So 25.33 for Xavier Gray takes out this 7th heat. And very little between the entry times going in, so no surprise that we are getting tight finishes.
Take your marks.
Heat 8 now.
The swimmers are away here. Heat number 8. A great start from Kim in 5. Really powered through that underwater into the start of this 50, and he's looking strong as he's coming down. 15 metres left to swim. Allen in 4 now, trying to take over that lead. Same with Kerr, and looking out there, Tobin out of 1. He does take it on the wall, 26.00. In front of Kerr there, that 26.10. Allen is up 5th onto the wall, but Gray 3rd there in that 26.13. And Kim 26.14. So a fantastic swim there. 26.00 now.
You're getting some easy ones to call, aren't you? They're so
changing
close.
all the time.
So close. Unbelievable.
Take your marks.
Heat 9 of 11 in the water, so only a couple of heats to go, and our final chances to make our finals tonight. Charlie Roberts with a great start and pushing further ahead. Also looking good, Jusung Byam and Hugo Wheeler in the outside lane. Evan Niam strong in the middle, but Charlie Roberts. So Charlie Roberts with a time 26.05. Second through, Evan Niam, 26.23. Third to the wall, Levi Chan at 26.55. So swift times, considering their entries, as we now only have 2 heats to go. Heat 10 and 11 ahead of us now.
Take your marks. Stand out, swimmers.
So just letting those boys get resettled on the blocks.
Take your marks.
And the boys are away off to a great start here in this heat number 10. Coming down to 25 metres left to swim for these boys, powering through all the way to the end. Looking strong is Kim in 4, almost a little bit of a straight arm. Shipway from 0 looking good. As it comes down again to that touch, Murphy out of 5 takes it 26.09. Lee from lane 1 in that second position, 26.12, and Shipway third to the wall, 26.28. So great job, still in that 26.0 mark. So fantastic swim for Murphy to get onto the wall first in that heat number 10. As we move now to the 11th and final heat here of the 50 freestyle, 13 to 14-year-old boys.
Take your marks.
Final heat underway. And nice start across the pool. Jordan Chu absolutely chewing up the water and spitting it out. He's definitely got the best of the start and the halfway. He takes a quick breath to his right to have a look where he is. And that is right in front. Very strong swim in this final heat. A 25.51 to take it out. Vern Traffer in for second. Fraser Blair in for third. So your top 3 placings there in the final heat. As we see the results from that final heat and our summary of our top 10 swimmers. And our top 10 13-year-olds will be back for the A final, and top 10 14-year-olds for the A final of theirs. Next 10 for B final of each. As we now turn our attention to the next event on the program, the girls 15 to 16 years, 200 metres individual medley. And we're joined back in commentary by Will Rollo to help us take us through 6 heats of this, with some big names starting us out. Ostapenko, Schumack, Lim, Daunt. We're starting off with a fantastic race in this 200 IM.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Excited to call through these 200 IMs. What a way to finish off the program. One of the most versatile events there is. We see combination, sprint, distance, all 4 strokes, summarised in a 4-lap battle. So as called through, this is the first of 6 heats underway in event 108. The girls 15, 16 years, 200 metres individual medley. On the screen there, you can see our 400 IM champion, as well as a champion across many events. Heidi Schumack, the 100 backstroke 101, and she's doing a fantastic job through the opening 50 here. Sitting on your screen, though, is Lim of Singapore, the fastest off the blocks and wanting to capitalise, but up against it as Schumack will turn through a confident leader.
Turn through in that 29.28. So a flying first 50 here from Heidi Schumack from lane at number 4. She's moved into this backstroke, really settling into her stroke. Really long and strong. And letting her legs ever so slightly just relax as she's moving towards that lane rope. She's just readjusted herself to move back into the centre as she comes down to that backstroke to breaststroke turn. So crucial to get right there. Very technical, turning through in that 104.31. That second position out there from lane number 0. So Greatorex there in that 106.25. And that third position, Ostapenko there in lane number 3 in that 106.65. So well and truly into this breaststroke leg, the very crucial part of this 200 medley. And Schumack very strong into the wall. She'll turn into that freestyle and either give everything she's got this morning or just ever so slightly let go of the pedal. She turns through in that 144.51. Ostapenko now in that second position, 148.90 as we head into the freestyle now. 25 metres left to swim for Heidi Schumack. And she's well in front of the field. She's using her legs here as she powers down almost under the flags now to finish out this first heat of the 200 medley, putting a very good time in for this morning, a 2:18.23 to take out that first heat there. Oskapenko in that second touch, 2:22.31. So a fantastic swim this morning. About 4 seconds off her best time. So just trying to relax there ever so slightly and give herself a little bit more left in the tank for tonight's final. The 16-year-old hoping to put herself in one of those middle lanes as we head now heat number 2 on the blocks.
So heat 2 enters the water. McKenna in the middle of the pool. The best of the starts, though, was Eloise McClellan of Brisbane Grammar. Just capitalising on the early momentum. We're sitting here now with McClellan, driving herself forward. Not too much head movement in the butterfly. Exactly the way you want to see this 200 IM set up. The leading charge looks to be Harvey in lane 7 for Griffith Uni. She should be right there on the wall for second. But McClellan leads us through with a 29.01. Harvey, and then third currently is Madison McKenna of St Andrews. Again, sitting with our leader here, you can see just slightly wayward through this backstroke, or almost pinballing between the two lanes. It's been a challenge throughout the championships, but McClellan readjusting and confidently moving through the back end of this opening 100.
She's looking strong as she comes into that turn now. Turns to in that 1:04.50. A great first 100 split for McClellan there. Second position now, McKenna. Sitting right next to her in that 1:05.83. And Harvey in that third position at 1:05.85. So we're in the all-important breaststroke now. We'll see if there's any moves to be made throughout this field. Looking strong is Edwards in 3 in the breaststroke. And Dredge out there in lane number 2, also trying to make a move. McClellan heading into that last turn now. Turns through with a split of a 42.4 for that breaststroke. But Edwards and Dredge out there, 40.6. And Dredge a 39.80. So she certainly moved through that field. She touched in that 4th position with a great breaststroke leg. And they head in now for the all-important freestyle. 15 metres left to swim for McClellan here as she comes down to that touch. She's relaxed in this freestyle. McKenna will get that second touch on the wall. So McClellan, that 2:21.09. McKenna, 2:23.36. And Edwards there at 2:24.49. They're taking out that heat number 2. Eloise McClellan there, 2:21.09. Didn't look like she overly gassed it. She looks very much in control of that breath as she's on the screen right now. The winner of that heat number 2. Just waiting for those results to become official. That 200 medley is so technical, so many elements to it, the changing of the strokes, the different turns that you have to be able to produce. So just seeing if those times will stay the same or there's an element of possibly a DQ out there. As we have a look at the beautiful weather here on the Gold Coast, it's been absolute perfection the entire championships. We've been awfully lucky with the best of it here on the Gold Coast, and those results are official, all times adjusted. McClellan still in that first position, 2:21.09. As we welcome to the blocks heat number 3 now.
As called for the third and final of the seeded heats. 3 out of 6 ready to race.
Take your marks.
And race they will. As they head off, all 10 lanes filled across the pool. making their way into this 200 IM. We've seen it provide so fruitfully throughout the championships. Lenny Gregor taking that 16 years boys age record last night in fact. Leading us through though, Allegra Crean of Marion. She has been one of the superstars of these championships. So strong through the backstroke and breaststroke as well. So the dangerous position to let Crean lead with 50 metres swum. Lee and Co sitting on her flanks. And the field really being led by the spearhead of lane 4, but Rebecca Whiting as well with a good change from butterfly to backstroke through the first 50. A very confident Allegra Crean as she comes down to finish off the backstroke.
Crean looking strong in that first position, but the battle with those girls in the lanes right next to her as they come at the 100-metre turn. That 106.78 for Crean. Dobie in that second position, 107.38. And Lee in that third position, 107.60. So we'll see in this breaststroke where people make their moves now as we get into the crucial part of this 200 IM, a sprint of every stroke. So every stroke 50 metres. So fantastic show of display here as Crean holds on to this lead. Now coming up to that 150 turn, so the last turn here into that freestyle and holding this race together. So Lee in that second position now, so was able to take over as they really power to the wall here. 25 metres left to swim for these ladies in the 200 IM. And we've seen some really strong times this morning. So those leading times at 2:18.23, the fastest so far from Heidi Schumacher in that first heat. As the girls look a little bit more relaxed in this heat number 2, touching onto the wall is Crean there in that 2:22.18. Lee in that second position, 2:22.90. Dobie in that third position at 2:23.83. So a fantastic swim there from Crean, just saving a lot more in the tank for tonight. So it's going to be quite an interesting race tonight if everyone this morning is just saving a little bit more for tonight. As we move along now to heat number 4, a little bit more empty than the heaps before it.
Take your marks.
That's right. We miss lanes 5 and 6 as well as 0, 2 and 9. But these athletes now with a chance ahead of them, as we've seen the number of both 15 and 16 years age groups swim through the first 3 heats. There's still another 2 to come at the completion of this, but the opportunity lies ahead. Who's been pacing themselves through the championships well? It looks to be Vaccaro. Mixing it here with Lucy Doyle. 30.09 leads us through for Nana Wadding, so bang on the times that we've seen through the first 3 heats. The task now at hand, transition that momentum into the backstroke, and that's exactly what we can see here from Hamilton, who sits on your screen. They're all charging through our lead 4 athletes, hoping to get a position in this evening's final, and it's almost dead even with 15 metres to come in the backstroke.
So they come now to that 100-metre turn. So the back to breaststroke. Hennessy in front there from lane number 3, that 106.96 in front of Hamilton. Our visitor in lane number 4, that 107.47. Bracco with that third to the wall, 107.91. So we'll see if this breaststroke changes too much for these ladies. Quite hard to do with some big gaps in the pool. So a great battle in 3 and 4. They're right next to each other, but there's a gap in that lane too. So it makes it harder for those athletes out there to see. Also a good battle for Doyle and Johnson in 7 and 8. As Hamilton looking very strong now in this breaststroke, turning through in front here. Almost got 2 body lengths on the field. Doyle second to the wall from that breaststroke. And Hennessy third to the wall after that breaststroke leg. So 25 metres left to swim. And they're powering to the wall here in this 200 IM. Heat number 4. And looking strong in 4 is Hamilton. She's almost under the flags now. She will take this heat out. And we'll check on that time. So a 2:25.31. So a big PB for Hamilton to take out this heat number 4. Hennessy with the second touch on the wall. 2:27.43. And that third touch on the wall is Johnson in a 2:27.85. So a great job from those ladies. And that's your leading marker in that heat number 4, that 2:25.31.
We won't be lulled into a false sense of security here. Heat 5 on the blocks and all lanes filled. So heat 5 hits the water. And again, a number of these athletes vying for positions in that A final tonight. Annalise Matthews of Rocky City on the left of your screen there, powering through the first 15, now 25 metres. We want to see these athletes around that 2:26 mark, especially the 15-year-olds. Annalise Matthews of Rocky City entered through with a 2:27.94. Becomes exceptionally hard to deliver that on day 7, but out like a blistering rocket. 29.15 for Annalise Matthews. She leads through Murray and Chuong out in lane 9 and 8. And as we move through to the backstroke, you can see once again, just keeping that rating up. The challenge is starting to lift here through lane 2. That's Jasmine Link pushing through on the far side of the pool on the top of your screen. But so far, Matthews still holding off the field as the chargers start to move through. 2:25 the time to beat. She turns through 1:06, so right on that pace.
So Matthews out in front here in that 1:06.76. Link in that second position, 1:07.55. And Brown third at that turn, 1:08.11. As the moves are being made here in this breaststroke leg. So right looking strong in 4. Ever so slightly taken over this lead. And looking strong into that last turn now. So Zoe Wright ever so slightly in front of Jasmine Link from lane number 2. Turns through in that 1:52.69. Link in that second position, 1:53.27. That freestyle leg now. The battle for that third position. Murray has it from lane number 9. But a very strong battle to get to the wall third as they fight down. 15 metres left to swim for these ladies. It's between Wright and Link out there in lane 2. And also Snyder's coming through now in 1, but it will be Link that takes it out in a 2:27.16 in front of Wright there in that 2:27.35. And Snyder's third to the wall in that 2:27.85. So not much in it at all for those first 3 competitors. A very tidy time to the wall, so that 2:27.16, your fastest time from heat number 5. As we move along now, this is the 6th and final heat here of the 200 individual medley for the 15 to 16-year-old girls.
Take your marks.
So how do we wrap this event up to these athletes in the pool? All 5 on paper enter all the way to the first 15 metres mark. Underwater was Zoe Gant of Nunawading. Sitting now with Maisie Graves, also of Nunawading, out of lane 4. But the best of the starts, Kazda of Sydney Uni on the top of the screen, battling through with Ashley Jones. Those two will take the lead into the first turn. Entered through with a 2:30.02. is Sophie Kazda. So just under that qualifying time for the 15 years age group, but out in the 31. So wanting to drop some time here. The challenge will start to lift here through the middle of the pool. As you see, it still is Kazda on the top of the screen, just holding off Jones, Graves, Garn, and David rounding the field from lane 6.
They're coming in to that back to breast turn now. Kazda doing a great job from 2, holding on to this lead. She turns through in that 1:08.97 in front again there from lane 5, that 1:10.50. And David from lane 6 in that third position, 1:10.83. A very close battle between all 5 of these ladies. They all sit at that 2:29, 2:30 mark. So not much in it at all to start from the program. But Kazda doing a great job in that lane 2, just holding on to the lead now in this breaststroke. She'll come down to that last turn. So the breast to the freestyle now. And she turns through in that 1:54.20. Graves now in that second position, so 1:55.23. And Jones breaststroked herself into that third position, 1:56.06, as they race down in the final 25 metres of this 200 IM, 50 metres of freestyle to finish with. And really fighting it out here. So Kazda holding on, Graves in 4. And Grant has the power behind her, but it is Kazda that's able to hold on in a 2:29.80. Graves second to the wall, 2:29.97. And Jones third onto the wall, 2:34.43. So fantastic swim there. David in that 4th position. Sorry, Gant unfortunately disqualified there. As that finishes out our 200 individual medley for the 15 to 16-year-old girls. Summary coming up on your screen now. So Heidi Schumack leading them through in that 2:18.23. 3 seconds almost in front of Eloise McClellan there, that second qualifier. So we saw a lot of the girls back off this morning in that 200 IM, saving a lot left in the tank for tonight's result. As we move along now, this is the next event on the program, the boys 15 to 16 years, 200-metre freestyle, heat 1 of 12.
They hit the water here, change of speed, the 4 laps of freestyle this time. Really using the underwater work was Luke Lee, the 4th fastest through to this event, out of lane 5 for Carlisle. Lincoln Waring in 4 for Chandler. We know how good he's been through the competition, and his opportunity once again here in the 200 freestyle. His teammate, Kai Perry, will lead us through out of lane 7, 26.01 through the turn. And now building here, Wearing in 4, starting to push through. Isaac Wearing in 3, just outside. So all the big names certainly in play. Skrabak as well for Camden in 9, looking to surprise some athletes on the far side of the pool, closest to the bottom of your screen. But now you can see the experience of Wearing hitting the front and hitting the front with intent. He leads out his brother by 0.1 or 0.27 of a second. Very comfortable looking 54.7 as we sit with him now. The stroke is impeccable.
So Lincoln Wearing there in 4, battling it out with his brother there, Isaac in 3, as they fight down in this 200 freestyle. They're turning in that first and second. Hagelbert in that 3rd position from lane number 6. And Perry and Lee strong in 7 and 5 now. Almost 15 metres left to swim. The Wearing brothers first and second comfortably here as they come down now to that touch. Lincoln Wearing in a 1:51.67. Isaac Wearing in that second position, 1:52.81. And Hagelbert there in that third touch to the wall. So he touched in that 1:54.17. So fantastic swim for those boys. A tight time this morning. We've seen a lot more relaxed athletes out there this morning. Whether it's all the racing that they're doing, or they're just saving more in the tank for tonight.
Well, tonight will be the last chance for them to claim these titles here. And Daniel Van Leeuwen has his eyes on that gold, as does Lucas Dunn. Second in the 200 IM yesterday, but under the Australian age record for that event. So we know he's in fantastic form through these championships, just chasing another Australian title. He'll be up against it. Liam Brown should turn through first. He does for Darwin out of lane 3. Van Leeuwen sitting in second, 26.30. So right on the pace that we saw from the first heat. Pelican Waters with Pamilio out in 8, leading the way for the bottom of the screen. But as you can see, the battle firmly sitting at the top. Locked in is Liam Brown for Darwin. And as we come across, you can see Pelican Waters represented in lane 7, lane 8, and they actually sit second at the turn.
Palomilio doing it tough in lane 8. He really doesn't have anyone to work with. He's got to look a long way across to see Daniel Van Leeuwen, Liam Brown and their battle. And now Max Mora, Steve Hansen coming back into the mix as he falls back. Lucas Dunn trying to push up. Danny Baxter doing the same, but it's Daniel Van Leeuwen turns first with 50 metres to go. Got about half a second on Liam Brown. Third through was Baxter and Dunn in for fourth. So now with 25 metres to swim, it's just a matter of holding strong and holding true. Baxter making a bit of move on Brown now. But Brown should have enough to hold on. He's not looking though, so he could get touched out at the end. Van Leeuwen in for first, a 1:52.57. And Brown just a touch ahead of Baxter. Mora in for fourth, Hansen fifth. Lucas Dunn gets sixth. Palomello, Ison, Shen and Brown rounding out the 10. So results in for our second heat there of 12 for our 15-16 years 200 metres freestyle. And heat 3 up on the blocks.
Take your marks.
So we've seen a host of swimmers down near that 153 under mark. Teddy Chan in the water out of lane 5. Russell Pang as well for Singapore, racing from 4. So if we expect to see 153 or thereabouts, we could be on for a sensational throwdown in the final. And as we know, the Junior Pan Pacific team will be selected by the close of the session this evening, with this event firmly on the selectors' radar as we get to see who will be representing Australia in the 200 freestyle, but also that 4x200 as we look to Kreutzberger, currently in 6th. He looks sensational, just that long loping stroke to sit next to Chan and Pang. The two Singaporeans doing a great job to lead out the pace, pushing the national or the Australian athletes through the first 100. 55.22, so bang on that pace from heat 2.
Yeah, nice pace out in front. Got about a body length on sort of everyone. It's a line across the field for second. So our Singaporean swimmer in the middle of the pool, almost like the rabbit, and every other athlete, the greyhound going after. Kojima in the outside lane 9, just making a move now. He doesn't want to sit with Chan and Lowe. Kreutzberger starting to make a move in this final 50 as well. But it will be Russell Pang. He's done a great job all the way through this swim. Bedgood, Paulson, Labara battling it out as well. Down to the touch And a 153.30 gets in for first. Second in the wall, Andre Labara, 155.61. Third was Kojima. Fourth, Paulson. Fifth, Bedgood. So results now on your screen, with Lowe, Chan, Kreutzberger, DeBono and Chan rounding out the 10, but a very strong swim from our visitor. 14 heats, or rather 12 heats this morning. It is a solid amount of heats for our 15 and 16-year-olds in the 200 freestyle.
Take your marks.
And heat 4 on the blocks.
And now underway here as we see once again a strong field of 16-year-olds with a smattering of 15. We're seeing around the 156 mark to get through to the final for the 16 years age group. So these athletes are going to have to be either bang on their personal best times or just under. Both Kelly and Johnson in the middle of the pool split the same entry time, 156.89. But it will be Hudson Haggerty out in lane 1. For Knox Pimble, the 15-year-old, leading us through 26.69 the time through the term. You can see the field now starting to creep up towards Haggerty. Kelly, Johnson in the middle. They sit about 4th and 5th as we now see Skurman and Brady look to take the lead halfway swum.
Haggerty threw in a 56.36. Johnson in the middle of the pool going through in 4th. He's having a great battle with Kelly, but it's Skurman and Bridie with the best challenge to Haggerty at this stage. So not a lot between them as they come down to the 50 wall. In fact, they've all pretty much evened out. The early lead of Haggerty is evaporated away. Bridie now takes them through with 50 metres to swim. McDermott in 2nd, Skurman in 3rd. Haggerty's been pushed back to 6th. So Johnson and Kelly have got in front of him. Kay Cooper's right up there as well. So coming down to the final swim, and it does look like a battle between Thomas Bridie, Caleb Johnson, and in lane 3, McDermott. So McDermott gets there 2nd, Bridie in 1st, 3rd was Johnson, 4th Skurman, Haggerty, Kelly, Kay, Wall and Yin in for 9th. So the early leaders changing almost every 50 in that 200. The pacing is so important, consistency is key, and you can see what happens when you don't quite get it right. So a third of the way through our heats now for the 15, 16-year-old boys. And heat 5 on the blocks.
Take your marks.
So a long hold, but we're off here. Heat 5 in the water. We see another Singaporean spearheading the field through Lim this time. We move through for these athletes, just 0.6 separating 1st through 10th into this heat. 158.21, the fastest for the 16-year-old from Singapore. Of course, the visitor will have to go closer to that 153 mark to get through, but it will get a 155 from Thomas Brady in the previous heat. We are starting to see those times being dragged down again. We're hoping to see around the 156 mark to get through to the final. The challenge will come here for these athletes. Dane Raywood looks up for it though, 27.03 on that opening 50 to sit 2nd. Rogers rounding out the top 3 for Rocky City, but there's no challenging the lead as we see once again the Singaporeans leading from lane 4, halfway swum.
Lim turns first at the halfway, 56.37. Nothing in it for 2nd. Raywood got his feet on the wall, but only 3 100ths in front of Rogers. Matthew Moran, very strong at the distance events, now trying to make his move in this 200 metres swim. Haywood in the outside lane in 5th, Brown in for 6th. As they come down the turn, Lim still in the lead. Got a good second margin on Raywood and Rogers as they continue their battle, with Raywood just getting the better of it. Zane Brown now starting to move up and following the lead of Raywood in 6. But I don't think they're going to catch our visitor. So 5 metres to swim, and Lynn has paced this very well. Raywood with a very strong finish, but Lim gets there in a 156.38. Now just over half a second in front of Raywood, a 156.93. And Rogers in for third. So almost halfway through the heats here for the 15-16 years 200 metres freestyle, and a big thumbs up from Lim. He really put it to the other athletes in that race. Hurt himself in the process, but came out with a ripping time. Dane Raywood there from Miami. Second to the wall, only just over half a second from our visitor, who is really sucking the oxygen still on the side of the pool. He's keeping himself afloat with the lane ropes. If they weren't there, I think we might need to get a paramedic. He's definitely hurt himself, but just waiting for those results to come in. And I'm sure the boys desperately want to get out of the water to aid in their recovery, but we must wait, as times now look like they are official and displayed on your screen. So Lim from Raywood, Rogers, Brown, Haywood, Moran, McNamara, Broad, Potter and Said in that order for Heat 5. Heat 6 now.
Take your marks.
As called, we move to Heat 6 as we approach the halfway mark of this 200 freestyle. Again, a smattering of 15-year-olds in a 16-year-old heat. Kepler Schneider's the fastest 15-year-old, swims from lane 3 and looking to disrupt the show as we come down to the first 50. Riley Mears as well, backing up after that 1500 yesterday, so he is ready to race. This, 2 days ago, sorry, that 1500 was for Mears. Sitting second, we can see the far side of the pool, another visitor, this time Noah Darwish of PLC Sydney. But Mears is absolutely flying through this opening 100, and he is a prolific distance swimmer as well. So I can't imagine there's going to be too much fade. We could be on for a very fast Heat 6.
Yeah, that is a dominant first 100 split, a 27.23, so didn't go out too great, or 26.66 rather, so and then a 28.05. Jonty Jagger was the 27.2. He touches in third at the halfway mark. Noah McLaren in the middle of the pool, second through, now up to the touch, and Riley Mears' lead looks to be the best part of 4 seconds, in fact, just over. So Johnny Jagger moving up into second. Third to the wall, Joshua Kang, then Noah McLaren. 15 metres to swim. There's not much fade, but he hasn't been able to extend the lead, but he did so much work in the first 100, it doesn't matter. As he comes down to touch in a 153.83. A very strong swim in the 200 freestyle. Second to the wall, 158.01. 4 and a bit seconds back was Jonty Jagger. Kang in for third. Bancroft in for fourth. Al Nasser fifth. Sixth place for Pilkington. And then Angus, McLaren, Snyders and Darwish rounding out the 10. But almost a fish out of water there with a 153 in this outside heat.
Take your marks. Stand down, swimmers.
Oh, we've had a fall into the water, which is really up to the starter's discretion. If they felt that he fell accidentally, they may reinstate him. If they felt that he was trying to go and anticipate. He may be disqualified. So up to the starter's discretion, but and it looks like that's it.
Take your
William
marks.
Cow not taking part now in Heat 7.
The Heat 7 is underway. As we look to the field, you can see lane 3, Justa Zhao of Knox Pimble trying to maximise his first 50 after the delayed start. Out in lane 7 as well. An early charge coming from Rowan Shipsides. In fact, Shipsides should hit the wall first. He does 26.74. That heat prior, Riley Mears really changing the odometer of what is to be expected from these heats now. I think we'll be actually looking at a 155 high to make it through to the final. So these athletes are going to have to work exceptionally hard. We want them to be turning through around that 55-second mark as Shipsides comes down to lead through. Spark will sit in second, and we keep an eye on the clock, 56.81.
Shipsides with a very strong first and second 50, takes them through first. So he's got a small margin, very small, over Thomas Spark. Third through Jaden Ship. But no one making those big leads at the moment. It is Shipsides and Spark. Ship trying to hold on. Third through was Milk and Hatton out in lane 1. But Spark now taking over the lead from Shipsides and battling it out. Jaden Ship trying to come back. He's got a bit of momentum on his side, but he's got a fair bit of work to do to catch up to Rowan Shipsides, who's really pushing hard in this last 50. And first to the wall. In fact, we've got a tie for first to the wall. Merkelhatton in lane 1, a 157.41. Same for Rowan Shipsides. Third to the wall, 158.46, Jaden Ship. It's a long way to go to tie. Spark in for fourth. Jones in for fifth. You can see an absolute dead heat for the 200 metres freestyle. We see it a lot in the 50s, not often in a four-lapper. But that's what it came down to. So great last 50 from the boys to get to that wall as fast as they did.
That's going to be right now the time to make it into the final. So 200 metre swim off.
Don't tell me swim off.
We move through now. Heat 8 in the water. Heat 8 of 12, of course, in this 15-16 years boys 200 freestyle. Sitting in the middle of your screen there is the middle of the pool for Nudgee College, Edward Berry. Leaning on the early speed in this 200, as well as quarterly out in lane 0 for Woden Valley. But how can we miss here? Isaac Allen of Emmanuel turning through 26.35 and holding his underwater skills as well. So you can see just breathing towards those sponsor boards currently is Isaac Allen of Emmanuel. Entered through 2:00:39. So a lot of these athletes trying to break that 2-minute mark in this 200 freestyle. Emmanuel have been good over these mid-distance races, and Isaac Allen hoping to represent once again as he leads us through 100 metres swum. Sitting in second is Charleston, and Monaco rounds out the top 3.
Very quick through Isaac Allen in the lane 9. Very much doing it by himself. William Thorpe being pushed back and pretty much left behind by Cody Charleston right next to him. And Jacob Monaco in 6. They're probably the best of the rest. Archie Balderson looking good up in 1, but with a very fast start and doing a good job of holding on is Isaac Allen. He looks well on track for around that 156 to 157 swim, depending on this last 50. And he's trying to stay ahead of Cody Charleston. Edward Berry now coming back in lane 4. Balderson doing what he can. He's probably got second, but he's having a bit of a challenge here from Berry. So Berry gets in second. Allen in first, 157.85. Berry 158.46. And only marginally in front of Balderson in for third. Monaco fourth, then Charleston. And Thorpe, Kopf, Tucker and Courtley rounding out the 10. Strong swim there, really took it out hard and held on. 12 heats in total, that's 8 down. So
take your marks.
Only 4 to go.
So let's see how they swim here as we move through. As you said, Matt, 4 to come in this 200 freestyle. Sitting on your screen, that's Noah Chappell, currently in the water for Caulfield. He's got a battle in his hands here. The challenge certainly sitting next to him through Picaru, who should lead at the 50-metre mark, but Sam Clements out of lane 1 for Yeppoon, also within striking distance, and Connor Watt actually turning in third there for Dapto. So 26.44 is how we've seen the last couple of heats take the first 50 on. But the challenge here in the 200 freestyle certainly sits in that second 50. They can sit near that 29-second 50. They will be on for around that 157, 156 high, depending on how much effort it's taken. So 56.27, on for a good swim here is Picaru.
And no one making big moves like we saw in the previous heat. They're all pretty close together. And Pirikau looking good in the middle, but Noah Chappell in lane 4 making a very strong third 50 be his mark in this 9th heat of the 200 freestyle. It's going to be between Leach, Pirikau and Chappell down to the wall. In fact, it's almost going to be dead heat between all of them. First was Chappell, only 4 100ths in front of Watt, and Pirikau in third. Lloyd Jones in for 4th, and then Brueggemann for 5th with 25 metres to swim. And now as they're coming down, very, very strong last 50 from Noah Chappell. It's going to be between himself and Connor Watt. I think it'll be Chappell who just stretches out the 158.64 and 158.86 for Watt. Third to wall was Lloyd Jones, and then Pirikau in for 4th. 5th, Clements, Brueggemann, then Truman. Leach in for 8th. So a couple of 158s. So good seeing those times still dropping under the 2-minute mark with only 3 heats to go.
Take your marks.
So we hit the double digits here as heat 10 hits the water. Paradiso in for Melbourne. You can see him, the top of the yellow lanes in the middle of the pool. Out of lane 5, Riley Brown of Ipswich Community. Happy to be on the screen pre-race and transitioning that excitement in through this first 50. Max Moore of Knox Pymble, though, will be right there with the lead. In fact, he sits third behind Wiggins and Brown. So Brown enjoying his time here down from Ipswich on the Gold Coast and maximising his time on screen. As you can see, our lead athletes again in the middle. Just a bit of a surge there from Riley Brown as he comes through to turn here. This 200 freestyle, a absolute battle across the 4 laps. And Brown using the second one to make a move as he takes the lead on the turn. 56-51, so right around the times again, Matt.
Yeah, it was a marginal lead for Brown at the 50-metre mark, but he's pushed that out just that ever so slightly on Wiggins. Moore still in for third. So those places not really changing much, but the times just extending out. Nice third 50 here from Moore. And it looks like he's going to turn first. He does. A 127.63 at the 150 metre mark. Brown now into second. And Wiggins still in for third. Paradiso fourth. Colitz in for fifth. Jones. And then Jaya, Carmencelli and Wunderlin, who was just left a little bit behind on the start and has struggled to get back into it. But Max Moore with a strong lead to start with, battling it out with Wiggins for the touch. He gets there at a 158.26. Now a third of a second ahead of Charlie Wiggins. Third to the wall, Brown. And Colitz gets your fourth place. So 2 heats to go in the boys 200 free, 15, 16-year-olds. And pretty much just the 15-year-olds left. That was our final heat with 16-year-olds as part of it. Now, just underneath that qualifying time for the 15s only.
Take your marks.
So as you said, Matt, the 15-year-olds dominating this field as we move through past the 16 years age group qual time. So a lot of these athletes should have an eye on that time for next year. The mark to beat, qualify for next year's event, 2:01.26. Absolutely leaving nothing in the tank here. Janes and Pozzoli in 1 and 5. They're our top two. They've cleared the field quietly in that opening 50 with 0.9 from the lead to third position. So Pozzoli really wanting to use that early speed to get out, to set himself up here for Caulfield, the penultimate heat of this event. And we have two athletes that want to race incredibly bravely. Samuel Pozzoli, the Caulfield Grammar, will lead through the 100 metres. Noah Janes sitting in second there, 57.1. So a very fast opening split here for the 15-year-olds as they eye off positions this evening.
Taking them out strong is Pozzoli. He's got a little bit of a margin on Noah Janes. Not sure if he knows he's out there. It's only hundredths of a second at this stage and very even across. In fact, Janes probably looking to have built on that position and to touch first at the 150. He does in a 129.38. Kobe Mead in for second. Douglas Hyde in for third. Riley Huntley now into fourth. And our early leader, Pozzoli, down to fifth. So that's how close they were. One lap. And the positions completely change. Kalaki sixth. The lean eighth, or seventh rather, and Sheridan Halal eighth and ninth, and now down to the touch. It's Kalaki holding on for a 2:01.45 to take out that 11th heat. Noah Janes, a 2:01.91. Great swim in the outside lane, and Kobe Mead holding on for third. So results official up on your screen, and only one heat to go. And looks like we've got 5 athletes ready to race. 6.
Take your marks.
So the final heat in the water here for the boys, 15, 16 years, 200 freestyle. We miss Taya Ashcroft in lane 5 for Miami, but Archie Reynolds giving us something to smile about through the first 25 metres as he looks to take charge of this race. He's up against it. Emmett Hatchard out in lane 1. Challenging as is Dashiel Von Myler, who leads us through, does Von Weiler, 27.00. So again, right on the pace that we've seen to get through for these 15 years age group. We're hoping for a 157 mid 200 freestyle out in the 27.0. You want him to be around the 30-second mark on this second 50. But there's no doubting our leader sits with Von Myler as he turns through.
Underneath the 57 mark for our leader. And Von Weiler looking strong at this stage. Reynolds in for second. James Reed for third. Hatchard in for fourth. Otto fifth. And Nijad in for sixth. So no real place changes early on, but a very strong swim here from Von Weiler. He split 27.00, then he's basically hit 30s from there, 29.9 and 30.9, 27.93. So he's got a good 2.5 second lead on the rest of the field in this final heat of the 200 free. And I don't think they're going to touch him, but Reynolds and Reed battling it out for second. Reynolds is looking across, can see Reed, but I don't think he's going to catch him. Reed really pushing hard in this last section. As Dashiell Von Weiler touches in a 159.98, a 202.02 for Reed. Third home was Archie Reynolds. Fourth, Nijad, great last 50, 31.91. And Hatchard and Otto bringing up fifth and sixth. So we now turn our attention to the next event on the program, the girls 17 to 18 years, 200 metres breaststroke. We've got 4 hits of this, and Hayley McKinder, our fastest qualifier, 2:27.69, has got her in. We see the times there from the 200 free. But 200 breaststroke now.
So Hayley McKinder, our fastest qualifier in lane 4, she's been looking forward to this since Australian Opens when she missed the 200 breaststroke. So she's really wants to put a good 200 together. Probably not so much this morning, but tonight, Emily Smith next to her in 5. Very tight battle. And the girls are off here. This is your girls 17 to 18 years, 200 metres breaststroke here. Hayley McKinder in lane 4, off to a great start here. But she'll have quite a battle on her hands with Emily Smith right next to her in lane at number 5. Bergen doing a great job at the moment in 3. So a very tight battle in those first 3 positions as they come down to that first turn now. McKinder leading them through in that 32.97. Bergen in that second position, 33.53. And Emily Smith in that third position, 33.71. So first McKinder, Bergen second, Smith third. As we have a look, so Bergen and Smith in lane 3 and 5 will be competing in that 17-year-old final, whereas McKinder, the 18-year-old, is vying for a spot in the 18-year-old final now as they come to that 100-metre turn. McKinder leading them through in that 1:10.85. Smith taking over that second position and really trying to battle here with McKinder. She turns through in that 1:11.44. And Bergen in that third position in a 1:12.94 as they settle into this breaststroke. McKinder trying to stay away from Smith. Smith trying to hold on to McKinder. Bergen just back in that third position now. As the battle comes in this last 50, McKinder holding it together strong into that last turn, leading them through in that 1:48.76. Smith, a second and a half back off the pace of McKinder in that 1:53.3. Bergen still holding on in that third position in that 1:54.50. So McKinder's got almost 15 metres left to swim. She's looking very strong in her stroke. Ever so slightly, she's shortened up more than Smith next to her in 5, who's really fighting down here under the flags. Smith ever so slightly in front now, and she will take it on the wall in a 2:28.83. So fastest time for a 17-year-old. So not only great in those distance events, but really strong in that breaststroke. So McKinder will settle for that second position, so fastest 18-year-old, and Bergen will sit in that 17-year-old final tonight with a 2:36.90. So great job from Emily Smith there to take out that first heat. We only have 4 heats of this, so not much room for movement here for that final. Only 20 swimmers going through, so 10 17-year-olds and 10 18-year-olds. Probably no B finals for these ladies. As we welcome now heat number 2 to the blocks. And some big names in this heat number 2.
Second heat underway. Very nice long underwater split stroke there from Lily Koch. She's in lane 5, the Red Bathers. And you can see what lead she has gained already in this race. Olympia Pope just off to her side in lane 4. And those two will be going through. We saw a huge lead develop in that first heat with Bergen and, rather, McKinder and Smith really taking it out hard and leaving the rest behind. Pope and Koch now hoping to have a similar story in this second heat of the 200 breaststroke. And we've seen some fantastic 200 breaststrokes all the way through our age swimming championships this week. The pacing's so important, getting that long and strong stroke at the start of the race and speeding up the rating as it goes through. That perfect balance of power and efficiency. Olympia Pope just doing enough to hold off the fast-starting Lily Koch. And touches first at the halfway mark, a 1:12.51. Just about a second ahead of Lily Koch. Ray in for third. Arnaud fourth. Wangford fifth. Moore sixth. Dudley in for seventh. McBrien, Behrman and Schneider rounding out 8, 9 and 10. Olympia Pope holding off Ray and Koch right next to her. The third 50, so important. You can see the flags jumping up and down at the turn end. As the wind just has changed direction today. And won't be hurting the girls too much, but potentially feeling like they're swimming into the breeze now on the way home. Keeping that nice long and strong stroke. So important to maintain your technique in this last 50. It's very easy for it to fall apart under the fatigue. Isabel Ray doing a great job of that and continuing to have that good stroke distance. But it is going to be Olympia Pope the whole way as she touches in a 2:31.77. 2:34.6 for Isabel Ray. A third home was Lily Koch in a 2:35.07. So about 3-second win there for Pope. And another second back for third. Wangford in for fourth, then Moore, Arnaud, Dudley, McBrien, Behrman, Schneider. Rounding out the 10. But very strong swim there. And wondering whether her parents had big dreams for her when she was born. With a 2:31.77, she's definitely on the right path.
Great swim for Pope there to sit herself into that final tonight. Smith still that fastest time for a 17-year-old, a 2:28.83. So that's the time that they're aiming for to be fastest for a 17-year-old. And as an 18-year-old, it's 2:29.64. So our third fastest qualifier here, as we just wait for a swimmer to pick up a cap, a lost cap.
Yeah, it's about halfway down the pool, so after a 200 breaststroke, the last thing they wanted to do was more swimming, but they had to.
As we have a look now, so our fastest qualifier here, our third fastest qualifier is Julia Eve Spedding here in lane number 4. Sits in that 2:28.5 range.
Take your marks.
Girls are away here in heat number 3. Great start from our third fastest competitor here in Spedding in 4. Very long on that underwater of that breaststroke, making the most of that underwater stroke and looking good into that first 50 turn. So Mounter next to her in 5, holding on into that second position, but almost a body length on this field already for Spedding as she turns through in that 33.81. So faster than that heat before. So taking it out nice and hard here is Spedding in 4. Mounter sitting in that second position on the first 50 there, that 35.12. And Nolan from lane number 2, she was sitting in that third position at the turn in a 36.05. So we'll see if those positions change throughout the race, but Spedding looking very comfortable now in that lead. She's got 2 body lengths on the field now as she turns through at that 100-metre mark and that 1:11.76. Mounter almost 3 seconds back in a 1:14.73. And that third spot still Imogen Nolan out there in lane number 2 in that 1:16.68. So powering through with less than 75 metres left to swim. Spedding very strong through this turn of breaststroke. So the only swimmer on that second 50 to go through in under 38 seconds. There was only one other swimmer out there under a 40-second, and that was Mounter right next to her. As that 50 is a 38.72, so fantastic pace here from Spedding. And she comes down to 25 metres to swim, so that lead's just changed ever so slightly. So Spedding stays in front. Mounter continues in that second position, but that third position, Taha from 6 there has been taken over. So she now sits in that third position. As Spedding comes down under the flags now, she'll touch the wall first here in this heat number 3 in a 2:29.82. So a nice tidy time this morning for Spedding under that 2:30 mark, which is great to see. Mounter gets to the wall in that second position, 2:37.32. And Taha there in lane number 6, third to the wall in that 2:45.4. So great job from that third heat there.
Very nice swim there from Spedding, the only swimmer to keep all of their splits under 40 seconds. So fantastic consistency through heat 3 of the 200 breaststroke for our 17, 18-year-olds. Now into our final heat.
Take your marks.
Fast start there from Isabel Cholera in lane 4. Really got off the blocks well. Ruby Simmons now looking strong out in lane 1. And not a lot between them coming down, but very impressed with the battle here in the outside lanes. Summer Sky Crisp and Amelia Otto going for it in 6 and 7. And Summer Sky Crisp, one of our multi-class athletes, SB19, 17-year-old from Iona. And she goes through in third position. Second was Salamone, but it was Amelia Otto taking them through fast at the 50-metre mark. Fourth through was Simmons, and then Cholera, Connolly and Draper. So very close across the field. Salamone, Crisp and Otto, stroke for stroke. If anything, Crisp potentially just that little bit sharper. Crisper, dare I say, at the 100-metre mark. She touches first in 1:17.96. Second through Otto. Third was Salamone as they chop and change positions. And here comes Cholera. We talked about the consistency in the previous heat of Julia Spedding and keeping all of her 50s under 40 seconds. The third 50 is so important. And Salomone and Crisp really going out after it. Cholera trying to catch up on the ground that she's missed in that first 100. That Amelia Otto is definitely in the way of that. So Summer Sky taking them through with 50 metres to go. Has paced this swim very, very well. Salomone still second, Otto in third. And now coming up to half a lap to go. Just got to hold it together. So this stroke, we said it before, the stroke as it fatigues, the breaststroke stroke so much harder to hold. The recovery back to that streamlined position gets slower and the kick becomes less efficient because of it. But Summer Sky Crisp doing a great job of getting herself back into position and touches in a 2:43.28 to take out the final heat. Stella Salomone at 2:44.84. Third to the wall was Amelia Otto, 2:46.14. So some strong times in the final heat. Draper, Cholera, 4th and 5th, and Connolly Simmons, 6th and 7th. Results for our final heat are on the board. And we look at the summary of our top swimmers. This, of course, is our top 10 fastest athletes across the 17-18, and they battle for a place in tonight's final. So big morning of action already. Plenty more on the cards. We've got the boys 17-18 years at 50 fly coming up. And plenty more. So stay with us here on 9 Now. We'll be back very shortly after a quick break. Welcome back to the 2026 Australian Age Swimming Championships here on the beautiful Gold Coast. Look at that sky. It's really turned it on again here for the swimmers and for the spectators and for you at home as we move into the 50 metres butterfly, one of my favourite events on the program. 17, 18-year-old boys. We have 10 heats. This is heat 1.
Take your marks.
Nice quick start from Ollie Mauclair out in lane 2. Also looking good, Tristan Waugh in 3. And Eli Billman, Lucas Montez now starting to come through in 4 and 5. Montez maybe with a fraction of a hand out in front, but it's going to be between Mauclair, Slater and himself. So Montez gets there in a 24.41. Billman in second, 24.58. Waugh in for third, 24.71. So the fast start helped, but it was the quick stroke of Luke Montez who took out that first heat, and a swift time, 24.42. 10 heats in total. And yet again, this combined age heat program leading to quick times as the 17s and 18s battle it out in the heats. They were separated for the finals, but battling it out together this morning.
Heat number 2 away here in the 50 butterfly. The 17 to 18-year-old boys really battling it out here as they come down with 15 metres left to swim ever so slightly. Silly toe in 5, holding on to this lead now as he comes down now under the flags. He's powering through to that finish, 24.07. A great swim from that heat number 2 to take that win. Musa second to the wall in that 24.39. And third to the wall was Burgess from lane number 6, 25.03. Fastest 50 so far. So Silly Toe there with a 24.07. Great swim in that heat number 2. Wonder if anyone will be able to break that 24 seconds in tonight's final. As we move along now, heat number 3. We have 10 heats.
Take your mark.
Well, if a 17-year-old does, they'll be bang on that Australian record. 23.92 for the 17-year-olds as the third heat gets away. Blistering start from Ehrlich in lane 8. Low going with them, Gibson as well. Charlie Lutton looking good in lane 3. Cash Milner being strong right next to him in 4, and that strong stroke is bringing him down to the wall. He touches a bit of a stretch, but a 24.47. Lutton in second, 24.68. Ehrlich, 24.92. Gets you third place, and Jack Mitchell in for fourth. So quick times there again in heat 3. 10 in total. Cash Milner, your winner, and those times bang on the times from the previous heats, about 0.4 of a second, about a second rather, off that Australian record. So heat 4 now in the water. Very fast start from Davies and Tuxford.
Looking good now, coming into 15 metres left to swim here. Anyone's race in this heat number 4 as they come down to that touch. Hardy from lane number 2 gets the hand on the wall, a visitor in that 25.34. Dent there, second to the wall in that 25.42 for Dent there to take that second position. So a great job from our visitor to take out that heat number 4.
Heat 5 now up on the blocks. About halfway through these heats for the 17, 18 years 50 butterfly, and everyone cleanly away. A nice long underwater from Samuel Zhang out in lane 8, and he got a great start because of it. Callum Fleming going with him in lane 9. The middle of the pool now starting to come through. Oliver Connell just starting to stretch out. Archie Kreutzberger right with him. It's going to be down to the touch with Connell first in a 25.33. Kreutzberger in second, 25.48. Third was Fleming with that quick start, and Zhang holding on for fourth. McMahon, Luo in for fifth and sixth. Humphrey, Mercer, Aporowicz and Giotopoulos rounding out your 10. So halfway through, 5 heats down, 5 to go.
Take your marks.
And the boys are away here. Heat number 6. And they're flying through. Stewart, the best off the start there. 25 metres in, 25 metres left to swim for these gents. As the fight is on to hand on the wall here. Stewart looking strong in 6, holding on to this lead as he comes now under the flags. hoping to get that touch, and it is Stewart that takes it out 25-3-4. Great swim there for Harrison Stewart from St. Andrews, taking the win in heat number 6. Those results on your screen right now. So not much in it. So the winner from the heat before was 25-3-3, and the winner of that heat was 25-3-4.
Well, it's no wonder we have so many swim-offs that we're flying through these heats. 10 in total, 6 out already. Up and swimming early was Jackson Welch. Long underwater was Lachlan Thompson. Both of them now level pegging at the halfway. Lewis G looking strong in the middle. Bailey Young right next to him. Max McKenzie, though, in lane 2 has burst away in this second half. Who's going to get their hands on the wall? It is Lachlan Thompson. He gets there 3/100ths of a second in front of Max McKenzie. In fact, it's a tie for second. Bailey Young and Max McKenzie in for second. Fourth to the wall, Simpkins. So we talked about close times, a tie for second, and only tenths of a second or hundredths of a second. Christo to G, 100ths of a second apart. Welsh, Walter, Yuan. Very, very close. Only a few to go now. Heat 8 on the blocks.
And the boys are off here. Heat number 8. Great underwater there from these swimmers as they battle down here. 25 metres left to swim in this 50 butterfly, and looking strong out there. Those outside lanes really firing here as we come down almost under the flags. Who can get that hand on the wall there? As ever, looking strong in lane 1. Mara getting the win there in lane number 5. Mara taking it out in 25-7-0. Zeva in that second touch from lane number 1, 25-9-1, and Johnson third to the wall, 26-1-6 with Foster. So dead heat for that third position as it gets tighter and tighter at the end of these races.
2 heats to go for the 17-18 years 50 metres butterfly. And it is getting harder and harder to make these finals. The times have been set by the faster heats early on. And now the second last penultimate heat up on the blocks and ready to go. You've got to swim fast. If you want to swim back tonight, now's your chance. Quick start across the field. And nice long underwater there from Luke McDonald. Lee Bauer up early and racing hard. Max Mason out in lane 1 looking good. Kalogeropoulos in lane 4 just starting to come through now. But it's Bauer with the bow wave in front of him. He comes down a little bit of a stretch to the wall, but a 25.84. He touches in front of Kalogeropoulos in lane 4. McDonald in for third, then Mason. Watts and Powell taking up 5th and 6th in our second last heat.
Moving along the results of heat number 9 on your screen. We move now to the 10th and final heat.
Take your marks.
3 swimmers in this one. And the battle is on here for heat number 10. 3 swimmers fighting out to do their best this morning. They all sit at that 26.5 range, so nothing much in it as they come down to 15 metres left to swim. Cheng ever so slightly in front. Our visitor in 4. Over screen in 5 there as they come down now to that touch. Regan Chen taking it out 25-7-0 in front of screen in that second position. So a fantastic result for those 3 swimmers.
We had 2/100ths of a second separating them in the book, but definitely more than that, almost a second on the wall. So Cheng with a very strong personal best time to round out the heats as the summary is displayed on our top 10 fastest times from this morning. And they'll be looking forward to racing again tonight as we now look forward to the next program, the next race. We've got 14 heats of the girls 13 to 14 years, 100 freestyle. So 2 laps of the freestyle. And we've seen some great freestyle races, 50s, an absolute flurry of activity. We've seen the 1500s, but the 100, really one of the blue ribbon events. Obviously a race unto itself, but the relay has the Australian team's 4x100 freestyle relay has made the women's 100 freestyle one to watch.
Take your marks.
So often racing for the first heat of the 13 to 14 years 100 metres freestyle. And fairly even across the field. Sienna Teven, a strong start, and Murakama out in lane 8 looking good.
Alberton out of lane number 4. Your winner as a 13-year-old girl in that 57.72. So we know that she'll be on this morning and tonight, turning through in that 27.86. Meshner from lane number 1 in that second position, 28.36. And that third position out there from lane number 8. Murakami there as they come down to 15 metres left to swim. Alberton doing a great job of holding this one together. Where she comes down now under the flags for that touch on the wall in a 57.67. So a great swim. Charlotte Lim there in that second position, 58.42. And Meshner holding on for that third place in that 59.08. So a great swim for those ladies. And almost the whole field able to sneak under that minute barrier. As we move along now to heat number 2.
Take your marks.
So heat 2 hits the water here. The time to beat. 57.74. That's Saroisa Hanafi of Marion. Her entry time, that should sit her well and truly near the middle lanes for this evening. She's getting out after it. The young Marion athlete in the center of your screen there. As we look across, this is an exceptional first 50. Hanafi turns through first, 27.87.
So great first 50 from Hanafi there to take out a 27.87. Bevan in that second position, 28.66. And Ruffton in that third position, 28.67 as they come down now to that touch and almost under the flag. So Hanafi will take this one out. Hanafi with that 58.34. So a great swim there. And now with that second touch, 58.72. A great job there. Another swimmer in that 58 range. So tonight it will come down to a 57. And her best time is that 57.74. So quite an interesting final for those 14-year-olds. Not many 13-year-olds through just yet. We've only had 3 in that first heat, none in that second heat. So as we get further into this, we'll start seeing our 13-year-old final fill up as we move now to heat number 3.
Take your marks.
So our fastest 13-year-old in the field, racing from lane 4 here, Karen Nixon, 58.20, her entry time to lead the 13-year-olds into the event. She's on the screen there. We missed Lucy Ma from this event. We know how good she's been throughout the championships. But the opportunity for these athletes to stand out, and Kiara Nixon not wasting it. She turns through in first with a 28.20.
The 28.20 for Nixon in lane number 4. Harris sitting in that second position, 28.60. And Doolan there from lane number 2 in that 28.74 as they come down now. 15 metres left of this 100 freestyle. And holding it together is Nixon out of lane 4. She'll touch in a 58.58, so a great swim there for our 13-year-old. Harris second to the wall in that 59.48. And Summer Bailey from lane number 1 gets third onto the wall, 59.71. As we move along now, heat number 4.
Take your marks.
So Davis and Bethel on your screen in the middle of the pool. On the top there, you can see Natasha Link swimming through for Kent Town. In fact, it may even be Natasha Link leading us through. As you can see the wider field now, all 10 lanes filled. Sitting once again in the middle of the pool, Davis and Bethel. In fact, it will be Charlotte Davis working that second 25 to lead through. No, second.
So 0.01 at that turn, nothing in it at all. 28.93 for Link. Davis 28.94 and Bethel 29.07. So not much in it at all as they come down. 15 metres left in this battle here. Davis just back on the field now as Bethel in 5 takes this one out in a 59.68. So Link holding on for that second position, 0049. And Mello from lane number 7 in that third position, 0053. So great to get one of those girls, which was Bethel, to sneak under that minute barrier. So 59.68. A lovely PB as we move along now to heat number 5.
Take your marks.
So heat 5 underway, and as we saw from that first heat, that minute mark will become more and more a factor as we move through these heats. Good to see all 10 lanes filled once more here in heat 5 as we make our way through this 100 freestyle. Making her way through this opening 50 in rapid form is Zoe Guthrie of St. Peter's. She's right there with Lois Cano, who actually will turn in first.
Turns through in that 28.45 in front of our swimmer out of lane number 9. Guthrie there in that 28.61. McGrath from lane 7 in that third position at the 50, 29.08. 15 metres left to swim. Guthrie trying to hold on in 9. Battle also over the other side with Molly Young in lane number 1 as they come down to the touch. Harris gets it in a 0.00. So not enough to sneak under that minute barrier, but right on it. So fantastic swim for Audrey Harris to really come through in that second 50. McGrath second to the wall, 0.015. And Molly Young, 0.027. So fantastic result for those ladies now as we head into heat number 6. So 14 heats.
Take your marks.
Heat 6 as we approach the halfway mark of these heats. 14, of course, so 1 to come through the halfway mark. Knox Bimble through Alexis Whitson. The top of your screen there. We now shift to lane 4. That is Baldwin of Nunawading, and she is having a fantastic 50. Should be very close to leading here. Here is Baldwin in 4, leading out Whitten in 6, the top 2 through the first turn.
Looking strong is Baldwin in lane at number 4, our fastest qualifier. But Whitten in 6, holding strong in that second position. So turn through 28.37, then a 28.66. And then a 29.0 as they fight down 15 metres left to swim for these ladies. It is a battle now to the wall. Who will get their hand on the wall first? And it's Witten in 6 that takes it out. A fantastic 59.80. Baldwin also with a 59.92. So a fantastic result for those two athletes to sneak under that minute barrier. Kerwin in that third position. So 00:07. As we move along now to heat number 7. See our distance lady in lane number 4 here.
Take your marks.
Right, the versatile Mia Hu Racing from lane 4 has called through for Carlisle, showing the speed early on. As you can see, the top of the yellow lanes. Moving through, Maya Hill, the 50 butterfly champion. So not surprising to see the talent out of lane 1. As we get ready for the first turn, we'll see the field split across Hill and Pettigrew, the St. Peter's athletes, second sitting with Sparling, sorry.
Pettigrew in that first position at the 50-metre mark, doing a great job, 29.11. Second position out in lane number 3, Sparling in that 29.50. And third, Cooper down from lane number 9, 29.56. As Pettigrew tries to hold on to this last 5 metres, looking very strong onto that finish. She takes in a 00:15. Sparling in lane number 3 will take the second, 00:95. And Mia Hu there in lane 4, 101.17. So a great result for that heat number 7. Those results on the screen right now. So 00:15. Moving on to heat number 8.
So over the halfway mark now, as you called through there, M. Heat 8 of 14 ready to race. From the middle of the pool, we expect to see Isabel Huang. 101.26 her entry time. Clovercrest represented out of lane 5. They've produced some great age group athletes. The South Australian Club. Ethan Owen springs to mind. Good 1500 freestyler. But what does Hannah Ward have in store for us for Clovercrest? As they hit the water here, heat 8 of 14, really marching through the final event of the 2026 Australian Age Championships. Thanks for joining us throughout the week on Nine's Wide World of Sports. So your exclusive coverage of all things Australian Open and Australian Age Champs. Back to the first turn though, the only turn in fact, it should be here. Hannah Ward leading us through, but no, Rihanna Schneiders steals the show on the wall.
So our swimmers out in those outside lanes doing a great job here. So Schneider's in that first position on the wall, 29.21 on that turn. Freestone from lane number 1, that second position, 29.23. And 9 O'Rourke in that third position. As it looks like Freestone from lane number 1 will take out this heat number 8, and she does 00:70 from Lexi Freestone there. Raina Schneider's in that second position, 101.18, and 0.01 between second and third and 8.9 was O'Rourke there in that 101.19. So not much in it at all in that heat number 8.
Love to see an athlete drop under that minute mark. One more time. We look to the field here. Just the 3 13-year-olds set to take to the water here in heat 9. The best of the starts there, Zoe McCauley of DV Aquatic. Now starting to push through. We can see Fraser Wiley in lane 6. But really, it's anyone's race with 9 athletes across the field. There is nothing splitting them. They need to be out around the 28.5 to be under that minute mark. Turning through, 29.16, it's Eglinton.
Eglinton taking them through. So like you said, that 29.16. But Wiley right next to her in a 29.17. So not much in it at all for those two athletes, fighting it down now as the field has come all together. And the battle here comes on the hand on the wall. Macaulay ever so slightly in front of the field from 4 as she comes down to that touch. 0045. Yin in that second position. 0074. And Sutherland third to the wall. 0082. So a great result there. Heat number 9. 0045. As we move along now, heat number 10. So 14 heats of this.
Take your marks.
Double digits in the water. Great reaction from Malagueno in 4. She exploded off the blocks. The best of the challenges, just peeking through your screen there, it looks to be lane 2, Sophie Clifton of Albury. So as we make our way, currently sitting with Malagueno in the middle of the pool. And you can see the charges into the turn. That momentum so important. Patura looking to capitalize as she leads through.
So she's pretty good at breaststroke winning medals. And she's putting her hand at the freestyle now. She turns through in that 29.10. Charlton from lane number 1 in our second position. And Hugo right next to her in lane number 9, sitting third. As they come down almost under the flag, she's trying to hold on to this lead. But Charlton and Clifton have something to say about that as it comes down to the touch. It is Charlton that takes it out in 101.06. Patura able to hold on for that second position, 101.18. And Clifton third to the wall in 101.36. So not much in it with that whole field. A second, basically between 1 and 10.
Take your marks.
So we move to heat 11, and just the 13-year-olds from here on out. There is absolutely nothing splitting these athletes on paper, just 0.4 of a second. The difference, the best of the starts, the top of the screen there. As you can see, just creeping in lane 1. That's Ruby Lenvi. The field starting to catch as they go through to the turn. You can see Mirajuri out of lane 4, who will take the lead with 50 meters to come.
Looking strong out there, these ladies in heat number 11 of this 100 freestyle. So they turn through in that 29.57 and holding it together as they come down to 15 meters left to swim. Gaudry in 3, trying to take over the lead here. And she does ever so slightly just before those flags, and she will touch the wall first in that 101.23. Jury in that second position, 101.74. And Dang third to the wall in 102.19. So a great result there for heat number 11, 101.23. Nice PB on the books.
Take your marks.
Just 3 heats to come as heat 12 hits the water and underway. Really using the time under the water well was Cam out of lane 5. Currently sitting here with lane 4. That's Bochnik of Shrewsbury Workers. You can see the challenges coming from across the pool as Amy By as well of Melbourne just clearing out on this side. She's up against the far side of the pool for the lead with Browns, Rouse and Sanders all in the mix, but it is By that leads through 29.25.
In that second position is Brown out there in lane number 1 in that 29.57. Rouse there from lane 0, sitting in that third position at the 50 mark, 29.62. As we come down now, 10 metres left to swim for these ladies, holding it together. Brown looking strong in 1, might take this heat out, and she does in a 101.49. So a fantastic swim there for Charlotte Brown, the winner of heat number 12. Those outside lanes doing really well there. As we move along now, heat 13, so 2 heats to go. 2 more heats of this 100 freestyle. Just waiting for those results to become official. As the sun is shining on this beautiful venue here. Look at that, it's just perfect conditions out there. And a lovely day to be jumping in the water, racing for a position in a final tonight, as those results are now official. So Brown, the winner of heat number 12, 101.49. Heat 13 on the blocks now.
Take your marks.
Penultimate heat underway here in event 112. The girls 13-14 years 100 freestyle has delivered us some great racing through the 8th and final day of these age championships. Mabsuit in lane 8 out there with the best of them as they come through this first 50. The challenge is Hayward on the far side of the pool. So lane 8 and 2 lead us through the first turn.
A great first 50 there, 28.78. Hayward sitting in that second position in that 28.86. And Watson from lane 5 sitting in that third position, 29.56. As the battle to hold this race together. Hayward strong out of lane 2, holding on to this lead under the flags now, as she will touch the wall first in a 00.04, so close to breaking that minute barrier. So a fantastic swim there from heat number 13, 00.04. As those results are official on your screen. We move along now to heat 14, our final heat here in the 100 freestyle.
Take your marks.
So for the final time at the Australian Age Championships, we have the 100 freestyle dive into the pool for the heats, as we have a field of 6 swimmers taking on the 2-lap challenge. The best of them as we come through to the first turn. Sarah Anderson out of lane 5. In fact, Anderson out to half a body length lead, with Robertson chasing at the turn.
Anderson turning through in that 28.80, so a great first 50 there. Robertson sitting in that second position, 29.25. And Wilson from lane number 2 there, 29.54. So the battle comes now with just 15 metres left to swim. Keen in a 4, really trying to take over that lead now as they head under the flags. Anderson holding on in 5, and she touches first in that 00.82. So a great swim there from our winner in lane number 5. Sarah Anderson gets it in a 00.82. Hannah King second to the wall, and Ella Robertson third to the wall. As that is the 100 freestyle there. The summary coming up on your screen. So we'll have 2 finals, obviously the 13-year-old 100 freestyle final and the 14-year-old in that top time, that 57 this morning from Alberton in that first heat. As we move along now to the next event on the program, so change of pace here. The boys 13 to 14 years, 200 metres butterfly. We have 7 heats of this morning. Our fastest qualifier for our 14-year-olds in lane number 4 in a 2:12.39. So not many 13-year-olds in the first 3 heats. So only 6 in those seeded heats. So those 13-year-olds, we know the final will be made up in those later heats as heat number 1 now gets on the
Take your
blocks.
marks.
So as you called them, heat 1 underway here of 7 in event 113. Thomas Penny swimming from 4. This is his 13th and final individual event of the championships, and he has been immense throughout. He's on your screen here, still so prepared and ready to race as he chases down Jacob Deere of Knox Pymble, who flew off the blocks. The top 2 will sit near the middle, in which order Deere sits first, Penny in second, Lewis Jewell tied with McCarthy to round out the top 3 as we make our way through this second 50. We've seen how important these second and third 50s have been, especially over the 200 form strokes. If you can nail your momentum through this second 50 and start to get to work in that third one, usually you walk away as a victor. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from Penny, who battles now with Jewell for the touch at halfway swum.
So turning through in that 1:04.02 for our visitor there, Penny. Our second position at the moment is Jewell there in lane number 3 in that 1:04.06. Third position, McCarthy from lane number 6 in that 1:04.23. And Jacob Deere not much behind at all in that 1:04.36. So really not much in it with those first 4 spots, as they seem to have really moved through the field here as Jewell now takes over the lead. He turns through first at that 1:50 mark. Penny in second, McCarthy in third, and Deere still holding on in that 4th position now as they come down. 25 metres left to swim for this 200 butterfly. Jewell doing a great job as our 13-year-old in the field, and he looks like he'll be able to hold on for the victory here in heat number 1, as he will touch the wall in a 2:13.69. McCarthy gets to the wall second there in a 2:14.86. And Thomas Penny, our visitor, sits in that 3rd position in a 2:14.87. So great results there from our 13-year-old to take out that first heat in a 2:13.69. So really the strongest competitor so far, and a pretty big PB for him. So 2 seconds from his time in the program, as now we move on to heat number 2.
Well, Matt Welsh has been famous in saying throughout the championships there's no such thing as easy butterfly. So if you're going to swim a heat, swim it fast, and that's exactly what Lewis Jewell did to throw down the time for the 13-year-olds. Braxton Truman, the next fastest 13-year-old, he'll swim from heat 3, but heat 2 in the water now. Isaac Ishmael, who's also been so fantastic through these championships, swimming out of lane 4. He'll sit around about the top 3. In fact, he is in 3rd as Engel leads us out for Cruz. Norwood represented in lane 5, and they're in 2nd currently through James Pilbeam. As we saw in that first heat, that second turn is absolutely crucial. So carrying the momentum through this 4th 25 is almost the most important part of the race. And as we say that, we can see Eamon Engel just lifting here for Cruz in a battle with Pilbeam for the 100-metre turn.
Yeah, Pilbeam takes them through first, 1:02.79. Engel in second, just about 2/3 or half a second thereabouts behind. Ishak in third. He had a 50 free earlier this morning, so whether there's fatigue in for that, not sure. But now into this third 50, he's got to make up a bit of ground on Pilbeam. He's doing everything he can to do that. And in the outside lanes, Kembry Joy looking good in lane 2. Lachlan Bull up there. Noah Dignan and Henry Liu, they're taking them through 5th and 6th. So Pilbeam with the lead still, and Ingle in 2nd. Ishak really starting to come through in this final 50. Did that 50 hold him back? No, it didn't, because he is storming home in this last leg. So he turned 3rd at the 150. He is clearly going to win it. He's starting to tighten up a little bit, as understandable in this 200 metres butterfly. But he touches the wall in a 2:13.19. About 2/3 of a second ahead of Pilbeam in for 2nd. There's about half a second ahead of Ingle. So your top 3 placings there for that second heat of the boys 13 to 14 years 200 metres butterfly. And it's Ismail Pilbeam, followed by Ingle. And the results there: Peebles, Kembry, Liu, Joy, Dignan, Bull and Delanoy for the full 10. As heat 3 of 7 are up on the blocks.
Take your marks.
So as you called there, Matt, the 3rd and final seeded heat in the water. And good to see all 10 lanes filled here, but these 13, 14 years 200 butterflies, such a tough way to end the program here at the Australian Age Championships. Previously, the 16-year-old boys had to anchor home, and boys and girls, in fact, in the 200 butterfly on the last day. So to trade here for the youngest age group, they are living up to the expectations. Nemeth Ford leads us through for Marion as he turns through there, 29.40 with 25 metres swum. Luong and Truman out of lane 3. Truman, of course, the fastest entered 13-year-old in this event. He does sit, the second fastest 13-year-old behind Lewis Jewell. Lewis Jewell taking out heat 1 with a 2:13.69. So I like where Truman is positioned at the moment, but there is no doubting the lead. Nemeth Ford turning through 100 metres swum.
And now into that gutsy 3rd 50. Nemeth Ford will want to be holding off the challengers, but he's going to get a few of them. Leung in lane 6, probably with the best of this 3rd 50. He's coming right back at him. But Nemeth Ford doing a great job right in the mix. Truman as well. As they come down the touch, and it will be Tyrell. He touches first. Still with that lead over Leung. And then right, Truman. Theron back in 5th. Archer not. He's in the outside lane 0, touching for 6 in front of Riley Welch. And then Bailey, Taylor and Dishler taking out the 8th, 9th and 10th at the 50 to go. The battle for 2nd is absolutely on between Wright and Leung. Nemeth Ford will take the heat. And Wright just trying to get in front. I think he will in front of Leung. So Nemeth Ford in first at 2:14.76, 2:15.39 for Wright in 2nd. And Leung touches 3rd in a 2:15.55 with Truman into 4th. Seven heats in total this morning for the boys 13 to 14 years, 200 metres butterfly. We've had 3 down. Results for that 3rd heat on your screen.
Just a fraction off the pace from the first 2 heats, but it should be said that will be enough to get through in a strong position this evening. See if anyone from heat 4 here can join them as they open their account in this 4 laps of butterfly. He's sitting in the middle of the pool when we see one of the best of the starts coming from MLC, Michael Yu in lane 6, and he's really making it work through now the 25-metre mark. In the middle of the pool, we currently have Williams and Whitford. And we can see now Yu out in front. Yes, Yu, not me. Harrison Green sits 2nd. 3rd going the way of Gately. as they make their way down this second 50. We've seen time and time again just how important this fourth 25 is in the 200 butterfly. It generates all the momentum for that critical lap, the third lap, and it is absolutely sitting the way of Patrick Whitwood, who just leaned off the pace in the opening 50, 30.44 in that opening lap, but he's dominated this second 50 to be out by a body length halfway swum.
Yeah, very mature swim, being able to control that first 50, knowing that you've really got to put the hammer down in the second and the third. That's what he's done. One of the fastest second 50s there in the field by at least a second, in some cases 2 or 3 seconds. So very controlled first 50. And now with his foot flat to the floor, he leads a fast charge from Flynn Wyeth out in lane 8. Also looking good. Magalotti out in lane 1. And they touch first, second and third in that order. Green through in 4th. Ben Gately in front of Lee and Campbell. Morford in 8th. Williams in 9th. Yu in 10th. But it's Whitwood who's timed this swim very nicely. Magalotti challenging him a little bit. So is Flynn Wyeth out in lane 8. In fact, Wyeth might have a little bit more momentum. Whitwood just starting to fade over this last 10 metres. It will be Wyeth, so a 2:19.98 underneath the 2:20 mark will take out this fourth heat. So a really nice last 50 there, 36.88 for our winner. Whitwood in for 5th, Magalotti in for 3rd. So Whitwood in for 2nd, sorry, in lane 5. Magalotti in for 3rd, Campbell 4th, Lee 5th.
It's an interesting point for these athletes in their development, as we have both a mix of the 15 and 16 years age group, 13 and 14 in fact. They are at different points of their maturation, and what we saw there from Wyeth, just exceptionally light through the water, and that did a fantastic job to drive him through to the final touch. As we dive in here for heat 5 of 7, and we expect to see these athletes continue to push through a field full of 13-year-olds here as they make their way down this opening mark. We can look across the field to see the best of the lead sitting in the way of Brian of Loganville, 30.93. So again, consistent with the heats prior, out fast, and the challenge then is what you can hold through the water. I like the way that Hodgkin Dawn is sat in lane 5, exceptionally light, keeping those hips nice and high, driving himself forward, but he's got a bit of work to do as the field now starting to pull away, led by Brian out of 4. Again, much more powerful stroke, but he's doing a great job to keep that consistent, and charging through is lane 7. That's Dingwall.
Yeah, Eddie Dingwall with a very nice second 50 to come up as close as he can to Louis Byron, but the Logan Vikings swimmer has got a very strong lead on the rest of the field, and he's pretty much told them, you guys settle yourselves out for second, I've got first. But as he gets further into this race, that's getting harder and harder to do. The challenges are coming from everywhere. And from Masick, Gregory, Dawson, Hogan, Dawn, Morgan, Dingwall, they're all coming at him. He still touches first, but that margin has dropped considerably. He's only half a second ahead of Joshua Gregory in lane 2. And if anything, Gregory has pulled up right alongside him and potentially past him. So Gregory now in the lead. Hogan Dawn pulling up alongside Byron, and the three of them going for it. Cooper Dawson wanting to get his name in there. But Joshua Gregory with a great last 50 stretches out to the wall in a 2:22.78. Louis Byron, fantastic job to hold on for second with Cooper breathing down his neck in third. Fourth was Tony Mazek, and Jake Hogendorn in lane 5 gets position 5. Rainley in for 6th, Dingwall 7th, Morgan and Lamont round out the 8 and 9. So 2 more heats of the 200 metres butterfly. Only 13-year-olds left. We're outside the qualifying time for the 14-year-olds. And still an opportunity to make the finals as the results from that heat up on your screen. Heat 6.
Take your marks.
Underway cleanly here. 8 athletes in the water of the 10 entered. What a start from Leo Kim. Trinity Grammar sat with him underwater, and now for lane 5 he is making the most of that start through this opening 50. Again, like to see that he's breathing every stroke at the start of this 200 butterfly, but he's not lifting his head with any wasted motion. The lead though will sit in lane 2. That's Henry Zhao leading us out with a 30.30. So right on the pace that we've seen through the heats prior, especially just 13 years of age, all athletes in the pool. As we make our way through this second 50 now, you can see a little bit more vertical motion from both Zhao and Kim, our early leaders in the field, starting to push through, being led most likely by Blair Gillen, Novocastrian, out of lane 6. In fact, Blair Gillen really almost stealing the lead here. In fact, he will hit the front. 100-metre swum, that's a good position for Gillen to be sitting.
And they're not letting him get too far away. Kim and Pickard right on his shoulder. Zhao over in lane 2 trying to hold on, but it will be Blair Gillen who is pushing even further ahead in this third 50. Hajaga out in lane 0 is trying to get in front and stay in front of Flynn Scott and get up with Henry Zhao. But it's our Novocastrian in lane 6 who's still holding on to that lead in front of Jackson Pickard now. Hayden Manning doing a fantastic job out in lane 9. Now Rockingham Summer. He touches third with 50 metres to go, and now it is an absolute battle between Pickard and Gillen. I think Pickard might have the momentum. He stretches out, touches in a 2:24 rather, 2:24.68, a 2:25.03 for second place. Gillen. Manning holds on for third, 2:27.11, and Zhao in for fourth. But with a last 50 split of 37.41, the consistent Pickard comes out with the win in the second last heat. 1 to go and only 4 competitors in it.
Take your marks.
So the 7th and final heat hits the water, and as you call through there, Matt, Jackson Pickard on that previous heat, just 0.08 between those third 50s. Incredibly consistent swimming, and great to see that from the young 13-year-old. It is the opportunity in the pool now for these athletes, also just 13 years of age, heat 7 of 7, to round out this program for the 200 butterfly. Swim consistently, that's the plan. 30.81 leads us out. That's Van Ryn for SLC Aqueduct. Loretto Normanhurst represented by Cheng in 4, just starting to push through on this second 50. So just 13 years of age these athletes, but they're certainly swimming well above their years. As they come down with 25 meters to swim to the halfway mark, the battle is becoming the far side of the pool between Cheng and Richards. Loretto Normanhurst ever so slightly in front, but still a really consistent butterfly to lead us through with a 100 meters swum.
Final heat, and still tight battles all the way through. We've had roughly 60 athletes, female males 13 to 14 years, put the name down for this 200 butterfly on the last day of competition. A tough race at the best of times, but tough to wait around this long to get it done. And really battling it out. Richards making the best of this third 50. He's looking very strong and put himself in a great position. Cheng through in third right next to him. Van Ryn getting that second position by a couple of tenths. And Van Gijssen is back into the mix. He dropped off a little bit, but with the fastest third 50 from those around him, he's brought himself right back into contention. So now Richards versus Cheng in this final heat. Cheng really finishing off nicely. So Nathan Cheng in lane 4 in the final heat comes down with one more touch, one more stroke to the touch, a 2:27.79. Couple of seconds it ended up in front of Richards. Third to the wall, Van Gijssen and Van Ryn finishing off the event. So 200 butterflies done for our 13 and 14 years. The top 10 of each going through to the final tonight. Before we get to our next event, which will be the 15 to 16 years 100 metres butterfly, we've actually got a swim-off. We talked about how close these races were before. The 50-metre events just hundredths of a second apart, in some cases obviously dead heats. This time it's the 200 breaststroke.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, the 200 breaststroke at these age championships. And we get to see it one more time as we sit here with Jackson Richards. Good to see him battling all the way through, as you called, Matt. A fantastic result for him to round out his program. I think he's going to be just knocking on the door of that final this evening, but potentially his championships complete. So we see here the results. Cheng, Richards and Van Gijssen. It was called through perfectly by Matt before, so good to see them. And then as we look to the event, Ishak Ishmael continuing to deliver on day 8. Love to see that. We see our two 13-year-olds in there as well, through Lewis Jewell and Braxton Truman. But as you called through, Matt, what a treat we have in store. A swim-off for the girls, 17, 18 years, 200-metre breaststroke.
It's a long way to go to tie. I think we called it at the time and almost joked that it would be a swim-off. Well, it is. It's reality.
And that reality coming to fruition as they dive into the pool here. A 4-lap match race between Solomon and McBrien as they get ready to see who will come back this evening. Gabriella McBrien of Norwest absolutely charging through this first 50, wanting to completely take the race away from Stella Solomon. Solomon, though, in a strong position to watch the way McBrien goes about this and take her opportunity when it shows itself. 34.86 leads us through, so a substantial gap through the first 50. Solomon really leaning on that glide and doing a fantastic job to keep within eye shot of McBrien. But McBrien, we can see her settling into her stroke now. She's built out a gap, but will that gap be enough? As they come down, it'll be a 100-metre swum at this turn with 100 metres still to come. And Stella Solomon is absolutely within striking distance. She's knocked down this gap, 1.43 on the last. Now sitting back just above 1.74. But I hate to say it, could it be another tie. McBrien doing everything in her power to make sure it's not, as she comes off that second wall there with fantastic form. And sitting on your screen now, it still is Norwest with McBrien well and truly in front of this race. Does Salomone have an answer for us? She's charging through in this third 50. It's so important to keep the momentum from this third 50 to the final. We've said it throughout the championship: start long, finish strong, and that's exactly what we're expecting here from Stella Salomone as she hits the last 50 now.
Yeah, it's always interesting in these swim-offs. We see it in whether it's a 50 or 100, and now in the 200. They both ended in a time of 2:44.84. We'll check the timing when they do come into the wall, but could not separate them on the touch. And there's always something left in the tank. The second time they've had to swim it today as they charge down. So 10 metres to swim. McBrien with the convincing lead at this stage, you'd have to say, over Salomone, and it looks like she will be progressing through. We have a look at the time. She stretches out to a 2:43.32. So she ends up about a second and a half faster than the time she swam earlier. And Salomone faster again, only by 0.2, but showing her consistency, swimming almost identical to before. So swim-off done, and we now move forward to that 100 butterfly. We said before we've gone from the 200 metres butterfly for the boys now down to the girls 15 to 16 years 100 metres butterfly. We've got 10 heats of this race, and this is a combined heats program of 15 and 16. So we will see most of our older athletes, the 16-year-olds, in these early heats. And as the qualifying time tightens for them, we will then see more 15-year-olds in the later heats. But it's led to some fast racing the whole way through these championships, as Heat 1 is now on the block for 2 laps of butterfly.
Take your marks.
Clean off in Heat 1. Nice long underwater there from our visitor in lane 4, Megan Yeo. Caitlin Haynes up with a nice fast stroke rate, though, in this 100 metres butterfly, and she's probably got the best of the start. Yeo now coming back at her in lane 4. It'll be between the two of them. McCutcheon and Haynes holding on as best they can. Carmen Zuli doing the same. Haynes touches first in front of Yeo, and then Lila Rubo de Brizac, who's at it again. She's had a big program. McCutcheon, Kamanzuli, Sakurai. So now coming through, and it will be Yeo who's just got that lead. She's just got her elbows out in front, if you like, just a half a body length. Although, having said that, Haynes now really storming home in the last 10. It was stroke for stroke, but Haynes in the last 10 broke away and gets it by 0.2 of a second. So both of them home in a 33.0. But with a fantastic last 10 metres, Caitlin Haynes takes first place in the first heat. Yeo in for second. Third was Sakurai out in lane 1. McCutcheon, Revo in for fourth and fifth. Carmen Zuli, Osborne, sixth and seventh. And Asquith, Mulcahy and Daunt taking you to the 10th. Second heat now up.
Take your marks.
Girls are away here. Second heat, powering through on that underwater was Crean in lane number 5. She's back out here again. A great reaction off the blocks, 0.54. She powers through the first 50 here, but also looking strong out there is Jeffers out of lane number 1. And Sylvester in lane number 4, now taking to that 150-metre turn. 28.48 for Sylvester there in lane number 4. Jeffers holding on in that second position, 28.60. And that third position on the wall there, Gibson in that 29.11. 15 metres left to swim. Sylvester holding strong from Rackley in lane number 4. Jeffers holding on in 1, but Gibson in 3. Crean in 5 as they come down to that touch. Crean gets it on the touch over Gibson. So Sylvester in that 0077. Crean in that 102.51. And Sienna Gibson third to the wall in that 102.60. A nice tidy swim there for Annika Sylvester. And the fastest time so far. So that 0077, your leading mark as a 16-year-old. As we move now to heat number 3, 10 heats of the 100 butterfly.
Take your marks.
Very fast starting. Kira Jeffs out in 1. Caitlin Keating going with her. And Emily Swan, all of them with quick reactions off the block. Great underwater there from Anouk Potter in lane 4. And she comes up well and truly in the lead. Mackenzie Wyeth right next to her. Now, swimmer from Rocky City. And looking to touch maybe third. So she does. Potter in first, Matthews in second, Wyeth in third, Field then fourth. And then back to Keating, Anderson. And Chandler out in lane 9 is definitely in the mix. Now into this second 50, and that lead that Potter had stretched in the first 50 as it's been extended. She comes down to touch in a 101.33. Annalise Matthews touches second at 102.25. Madeline Field in third, 102.51.
So Potter taking out heat number 3 in that 101.33. As those results are now official on your screen. We'll move along to heat number 4 now. And the girls are away here. Long underwater from Yang in lane 6 there. As they battle down in this 100 butterfly. Not an easy race to do, not quite a sprint, but very taxing on that body. Looking good out there. All these swimmers really fighting it out. Van der Venten in that first position there at lane 1 in that 29.09, sorry. 29.09, 29.30. And a dead heat in that second position as we come down now. 15 metres left to swim. Holding this race together. Van der Venten in lane 1, holding strong, but the battle now with Yang in 6. And she takes it on the touch. Visitor 103.27 to take out that heat. Number 4 in front of Bowman in lane 2 in that 103.31. So those results now official on your screen. And we move along to heat number 5. So 10 heats of this 100 butterfly.
Take your marks.
Underway in heat 5. Up and swimming early. Keela enters. Rebecca Whiting just that little bit further underwater and has stretched out a little lead on her. Ruby Woodford looking good in lane 7 with a nice underwater. And Clara Fay doing the same. Lars O'Hara looking good in lane 1 as well, and it's going to be tight between the two of them to touch first. So it's Clara Fay first, a 29.57, then O'Hara, about 0.3 of a second after. Third through was Woodford, then Whiting. Michaela Want just ever so slightly back off the pace, and she's going to really need to want it if she's going to come over the top of those around her, and she's coming through potentially third or fourth, but it'll be Faye who holds on with a 103.68. O'Hara with a 103.90 touches second. Third to the wall, Woodford. Whiting in for fourth. Hale in for fifth. So Clara Fay very happy with her swim. She just focused on her lane, got out hard and held on for a very strong time. Came in with a time of 105.0, taking a couple of seconds off that.
Take your marks.
Underwater here for the girls. In heat number 6, Ord from lane number 8, fastest off the blocks and firing into this 100 butterfly as they power down that first 50. Now looking strong. She's staying strong in 8. So she might lead them through that first 50 here. We'll have a look at that split as she comes down to that turn now. Turning through in 29.66. So a great first 50. Hollywood in that second position, 30.01. And McCarthy sitting in that third position from lane number 9, 30.17. As the battle comes now from Hollywood, looking strong out there in lane number 3 as she powers down the last 15 metres. No one's able to catch her here. As she comes down under the flag, she will take it out. Hollywood in 104.65. McCarthy able to hold on for a second touch. 105.08. Patterson third to the wall, 105.22. So a great swim there for Hollywood to take out heat number 6. Layla Hollywood, your winner. As we have a look now to heat number 7. Raring and ready to go.
Take your marks.
Heat 7 off. Machine gun fire in these heats. We're going through them very quickly here on the final day of competition at the Gold Coast Aquatic Centre. These age championships have been blisteringly hot in the morning, not just because of the temperatures here, but the times as well. And the middle of the pool just pushed back a little bit, with Shablon taking them through first, Cairns in second, Hall in third, and Ashmead in fourth at the turn. So Logan Shelley with a little bit of work to do to catch up, because it's Olivia Shablon with the best of the first 50 and doing a fantastic job in the second as well. Ava Kearns probably her nearest competitor, but Mackenzie Hall coming home very strong. Olivia just tightening up a little bit, but she gets to the wall in a 104.61. So brave, strong swim there from Olivia Shablon, taking out heat 7. Second on the wall, Hall. Ashmead for third, then Pym. Purcell, Rose Purcell has had a great meet and gets in for fifth. Ava Kearns, sixth. Whalen, Avery, Johnson and Shelley. Now into heat 8.
Take your marks.
Heat number 8, and a cracking underwater But Matt got there in lane number 5, 0.5 off the blocks, and she was firing there into this first 50 looking strong. But so is those outside lanes. So Costello in 1, holding strong. As lane 4, Dale tries to make a move 2 in this first 50. They come down to that turn. So Mangot there in that first position, 30.72. Dale right next to her in lane number 4 in that 30.77. And that third position, Jones from lane number 9 out there in 30.93. So 25 metres left to swim for these ladies trying to hold this stroke together. Costello looking like she's got the pace behind her in 1, but quite a strong battle as Kalogeropoulos in lane number 7 looks strong to the finish here. And she will get her hands on the wall first in a 105.88 to take out heat number 10. So a fantastic swim there. Second place out there was Yap right next to her in lane number 8 in that 106.79. And Morgan's in lane number 6, 106.93. As we move along now to heat number 9.
Take your marks.
Well, they dive into the glass-like water here at the Gold Coast Aquatic Centre. In this second last heat of the 200 fly, or the 100 fly rather. And not a lot going between them. It's these heats here in the morning going hotter than an oven as we touch first. Pusey first, 30.15. Trong in second, 30.31. Just in front of Crouch, 30.36. Ho in fourth, Song in fifth. And a very strong second 50 here from Tallow Crouch. She touched third at the 50, and she's really bringing it home strong now. Easily the fastest second 50 in the pool. A 104.65 gets her the win in this ninth heat. Came back in a 34.2. So very quick second 50. Absolutely demolished it. Trung in for second. So an important win there for Tello Crouch to take out heat 9. And now we go into the final heat, heat 10.
Take your marks.
And the girls are away here. Best of the starts was Buchanan there in lane number 4 as she fired off the blocks into this first 50. Delac in 5, really giving her a battle as they come down to that first 50. They are firing here on the Gold Coast as they come into that 50-metre turn. Doesn't look like winter's coming at all with this amazing racing that we're having.
So now into the second 50. And look at them stroke for stroke. They're like beating the drum as they come down this second 50. Buchanan in the middle. She's trying to hold off Dillac, but Beaton is coming back. She doesn't like to be beaten. There's 10 metres to be swum. Buchanan, I think, can hold her off. They come down to touch very close to the wall, only a third of a second in at 106.46 versus 106.70. So a great way to finish the heats there. That was a very tight battle here under the sun. I can tell you, as someone from Melbourne, I'm enjoying this weather up here on the Gold Coast. Definitely a place to come when it does get cold in the winter. The breeze coming in now, it is cooling it off a little bit. But the eternal sunshine up here is absolutely brilliant. So we move now into the next race. It's the boys, 15 to 16 years, 100 metres breaststroke. And Christopher Montana, he's had such a strong week. He just gets up time and time again. Great attitude towards everything. He's deserved the success he's got this week. So just waiting for the athletes to clear the pool.
We head into that next event on the program, so the 100 breaststroke. The boys 15 to 16 years, so our fastest qualifier here.
Take your marks.
Christopher Montana has had a fantastic meet so far. As they dive into this 100 breaststroke, Montana the best off the start and firing here in this first 50. Really powering through in this breaststroke. He certainly does muscle through as Williams looks strong in 3. And they're fighting down at that 50-metre turn. So Williams ever so slightly in front of Montana here, turning through in 29.59. Montana 30 flat there and 10 in that third position. So they come down to 25 metres left to swim, and the battle's on here between Williams and Montana. Williams ever so slightly holding on. Montana looking strong in the middle of the pool. You can see Tanner, visitor, making his move in 5, and even Tarrant looking strong in 2. As they come down to the touch, it will be Christopher Montana that takes it out in that 104.58. So a great swim.
He did that
from
easily.
Montana.
Did that really easily. Look at him, he wouldn't blow out a candle. He's been so strong all week. So second heat up now. So 104.5 takes out the first. We'll keep an eye on that time.
Take your marks.
Off and racing for the second heat. Nice long underwater, very long in the middle of the pool for Lenny Grigor. He comes up first. And also looking good, Colin Burt out in lane 3. Koa Stotts with that turn of speed we've seen, with that higher rating, you can see him not quite getting the glide of Lenny Grigor. It's getting him out fast, but the energy he's using to do it, will that play a part in this second 50? So tie for second there, Gui and Geng. 4th through Grigor. 5th through was Colin Bett. Hamish Evans in for 6th. Jesse White in for 7th. Jack Gorey and Dingwall Makira rounding out the 10. An absolute wall coming at the finish line now, but separating himself out is the fast finishing Lenny Grigor. The 105.16 to take out this second heat of the 15-16 years 100 breaststroke.
Great swim also from Colin Burt there in lane number 3, taking that second touch onto the wall. But even Koa Stotts, our 15-year-old, great to see him mix it with these old boys in the 105.86. Nothing better than that. Well, maybe some fresh linen, but
nothing better than that as we move into the third heat. So Lucas Dunn in the middle of the pool, but what a start from Lucas Dunn there, that long underwater. Max Smythe there in lane 5, also a good start was Declan Zimmel in lane 7. Oh, it's Harold Zhu in lane 8. I can see him just on the outside. He was dynamite like Lucas as well. So Lucas does take them through. Xavier Eagle in second, only by hundredths of a second. McDonald in third, then Harold Zhu with that strong start out in lane 9. Haydenberg just a little slow in that first 50, but he's got a little bit of work to catch up the rest of the field. Lucas Dunn really in control in this second 50 now. Led them through at the 50 and touches first with a 104.50. Max Smythe in 105.35. Harold Zhu gets up for third, 105.57, and McDonald in for fourth.
So great job for our swimmers there. Lucas Dunn taking out that last heat as we move along to heat number 4.
Take your marks.
8 days is a long meet, but these boys aren't showing any letdown here as they fire off the blocks. Clayton looking strong in 4 as they head down that first 50 there, so we can see some different strokes. Clayton ever so slightly on the side in his breaststroke as he comes down that first 50. And we'll see what times they are able to produce in that first 50, leading them through 31.49 for Clayton. She in that second position, 31.53. And really fighting it out here as they come down to 25 metres left to swim. The battle now coming from Wu in 6. Although those boys are really moving through this field now. Very tight battle for those first 5 places, as it will be tight onto the wall. Wu ever so slightly in front here in a 107.44.
Yeah, it was a good finish there from Wu. He was about half a stroke off, though. He kind of had to fling himself onto the wall that last little section. Second of the wall, Sam Mills. Jack Charles in for third, and Max Clayton in for fourth. Often think with our swimmers, so much preparation has gone into this, and on the final day, they've got to get up and hit it as they do. They dive in for this 5th heat. And missing swimmer in lane 8, just dividing Jacob Cito out from the rest of the field.
They're going out strong here in this heat number 5. They've seen those times that were able to produce in those early heats, and they're aiming to get that here. As Hembling takes them through from lane number 7, 31.08. That second position, Conhidi from lane number 3. And that third position, 10 from lane number 5. So 31.08 leading them through. Hembling now, as we do see a divide between 7 and 9. But the battle on here as those boys are really powering through this 100 breaststroke, looking strong. Hembling takes it on the wall, 106.40. Conhidi second to the wall, 106.97. And Monaco third to the wall, 107.78. So some great results there. It takes an absolute village to get here at the Age Championships. And the water is looking absolutely divine. They're here for the payment. This is now the payment.
Take your marks.
Heat 6 in the water. 13 heats in total for the boys 15 to 16 years, 100 metres breaststroke. incredible to see the depth of racing. We've seen it event after event, and now deep into these heats, we see a very tight battle in the middle of the pool. Lowe and Lewis coming down to the wall. Lewis touches first in front of Lowe. Roger out in lane 1. He's in front of Wade in lane 4. And now into that second 50, and we always find that second 50, if you can bring it home hard, it does cost you a little bit, but hopefully with enough fun left to get them to the wall. And it looks like Lewis is going to hold on. And he touches with a 107.71. Roger in second, 108.41, 108.57 for Jover and Lowe in the middle of the pool. So only a few heats to go. We're roughly halfway through these heats, with heat 7 now up on the blocks.
Take your marks.
The boys are off, and some great underwaters there. The longest out of them, lane number 5. Brunel there, doing a great job of really powering through in this breaststroke. We've seen some really strong breaststroke here at the championships. We've seen most of those records fall in the breaststroke, and we'll be on record watch tonight as the boys are looking strong here. So Cho in 4, Ma in 3. So they're leading us out 1 and 2 in that 32.09, 32.18. As they come down now, almost 25 metres left to swim. So really trying to get themselves in the best position possible. So we'll see a 15-year-old final and a 16-year-old final tonight, and probably a B final as well. So trying to push themselves up through the ranks here as they come down now under the flags. Ma looking strong as he gets to the wall. He does take it out in 108.92. Long second to the wall in a 109.85. So a great job from our swimmer there. Takes it out, heat number 7. So it might not be enough for a final, but we'll wait and see.
It's still a good swim. It might not have earned the big prize, but I don't know, maybe worth a voucher or something. But we've had so many big swims this morning.
Take your marks.
It's going to be tough to get in front of them as we dive off for heat 8. And they really muscle their way through this first 50. They bring themselves right up, almost into a mushroom position as they drive themselves forward into that kick. So Levi Thompson doing a great job in this first 50. As they come down, the outside lanes really got the speed there. Jackson Lewis so far out, they probably can't see him. If he had a horn, they'd hear him, but he's a long way out. Mudanyaki in lane 1. He comes in second. Wenham in third. So the challenges are just multiply here at the Gold Coast Aquatic Centre. Lashy in the middle of the pool. In fact, he is coming through. So beautiful stroke in the second 50. Nice strict adhesion to his form as he touches the wall in a 108.85, 108.97 and 109.68. So these times important, and it is important to make sure they're recording these times, their personal best times, as we're getting closer and closer to the finish of these heats.
lot of fluctuation
Take
between the
your
first
marks.
heat and the last heat. As the boys are away here, the ratio between the 15-year-old and 16-year-olds have been strong here at the championships. And we show another strong battle here in this heat number 9 as they come down that first 50. Looking strong is Arsuma in lane 4 there. Van Rulen in that first position at the wall, 31.54. 32.16 for that second position. And Rogers from lane 9 sitting in that third position, 32.27. So fantastic as they come down that last 25 metres. It's a real battle here to that finish. That first position, I believe, is taken, but nothing much in that second, third position. Maybe a B between them.
So nice onto the wall there from Van Ruwen. Coulter in for second. Third to the wall was Van Diaz out in lane 7, all over the place. So really tight racing here in these outside heats. 13 heats in total, that's 9 heats swum already. And we just wait. We leave the athletes in the water to save time. The irony is that when we do have a bit of a delay, it just takes that little bit longer between races. But I'm sure the next heat are welcome for that little bit of a break before they start. So Marcus Van Ruwen ready to go. A bit of a height discrepancy. There's a few tall swimmers in this heat.
Take your marks.
Off and racing for Heat 10. Only 4 heats to go here in the boys 15 to 16 years, 100 metres breaststroke. And riding that wagon down the first 50, Ryan Martin in lane 5, Aidan Hong just trying to get a quick response to that fast start from Alexander Spencer. So he comes down to touch in a 31.38. Mackenzie touches in a 32.16. Sean Wang a 32.46. It doesn't matter what lane you're in, you're not exempt from hitting this as hard as you possibly can. You've got to race it hard in this second 50. You can't go out easy, otherwise you're a candidate to miss out for tonight's final. Alexander Spencer, he touched first at the 50, but it's going to be Martin Ryan. An example of just how important that is to get that second 50 right. He touches in a 110.45. A 109.62, looking at Alexander Spencer's 110.45. And then Gusini's 110.97 in for third, a 111.14 for Sean Wang.
As those results become official on your screen, so Martin taking out that heat number 10. It's great that these championships are brought to you by 9, but still our parents film those swimmers. It's important to make sure that you're doing everything right here as we move into heat number 11. You don't want someone to rob you of your best time. These boys sitting in that 1:11 mark. As we move into this first 50, the all-important one. As looking strong throughout the field here. Ericsson in 7, that 32.03. Harvey right next to him in lane number 8, 32.75. A fantastic swim put together here by Eriksson in lane 7, holding on to this race now as he gets down to the last 25 metres. Berta in 9, looking very fast, and Harvey in 8, so there's a battle there. Neville out of lane number 0, also strong now into the last 5 metres. He might have this. Neville from lane number 0, 109.75, a fantastic swim. Eriksson sits in that second position, 110.03. Harvey third to the wall, 110.59.
2 more heats to go. Heat 12 and 13 is our last chance to make those finals tonight. You got to earn it though. No get out of jail free cards for our swimmers here. And this 100 breaststroke. It's an interesting stat that you came up with before, with all of these records being broken by the male swimmers. The female records, I guess, just that little bit tougher to get. As they dive in for the 12th heat, our penultimate heat here. And a very fast start there, Oliver McDonald in the outside lane. These swimmers racing for a berth in tonight's final, and if they do swim well in tonight's final, we spoke last night to Simon Kuzak about the team selection going into the Junior Pan Packs, racing against countries like Japan, Canada, of course, and America, and obviously a huge rivalry with America. And obviously we all remember that relay where they said they'd smash them like guitar. Now, if you want to be up there with the big boys, this is where you've got to start. So Oliver McDonald taking them through really fast in that first 50. You're now into the second. He might have been overtaken by Lachlan Gong. But for the second portion of this race, it will go to Gong at 35.94 to come home. He touches in a 108.33. Oliver McDonald touch in 109.57, 109.91. And Max Wong just declined at the end there, 110.75. So nice swim in the results, but the winner is Lachlan Gong, 108.33.
Take your marks.
Heat number 13. And the boys are away here in your 13th and final heat. Only 4 swimmers in it. So let's see what these boys are able to produce. They sit in that 112 range, so they're all very close to each other. So we'll see who can get their hands on the wall first at that 100-meter mark. But who's going to take him through that first 50? They come through here. Theodore looking strong in 3. Ko leading them through in 4. Turns through in that 33.09. And very strong down this last 50 now. So battle, Ko and Theodore really having a great battle in these tropical conditions. Ko from 4 at the moment, just trying to hold on, but Theodore in 3. He's very strong here as they come down to the touch. And who will get it? Lane 6 coming through with the win there onto the wall, 110.99. Theodore second to the wall, 111.87, and Ko third to the wall in a 112.07. So a great job from that last heat. Burning up the ash there. As those results are now official. And the summary comes up on the screen now. So our leader through, Lucas Dunn. He's ready to put a proper race together tonight. As we have a look at the next event coming up after a quick break is that 800 freestyle. So we will be back very soon here on the Gold Coast with Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Welcome back to the final day of heats here at the Australian Age Swimming Championships. We're at the Gold Coast Aquatic Centre, and after 7 huge days of swimming, the swimmers keeping their motivation high for our final couple of races before we finally draw to a stop. It's been an enormous day of racing, a week of racing really. So thanks for joining us here on 9 Now as we move into the girls 17 to 18 years 800 freestyle. The swimmers now crouching ready to go. So off and racing for heat 2 of 2. Now our fastest 10 swimmers will be swimming tonight, and these are the next 4 on the program. So these times will be compared to the races tonight. If you do swim fast enough this morning, you will be in contention for that race, but it is an 800 metres, so pacing is key. You don't want to be reckless and burn all your energy in the first 100. You really need to settle into a nice rhythm and be consistent through your 50s.
So doing a great job settling into this 800 freestyle. So Smith in that first position currently, 30.62. As we probably won't see many moves being made just yet. So hold on for later into the race. So Smith leading us through that 103.94. Boozerville in that second position, 104.09. Grab there in that 104.70. Brand sitting in that fourth position, but really not much in it at all. 105.04. So these swimmers coming into another turn here at that 150 mark. Boozerville taking over the lead in front of Smith. Grab and then Brand. Great weather out here on the Gold Coast. Wonder if these girls have something that they're thinking about or listening to some music.
I always like the Ministry of Sound, a good backbeat to keep them going through these racing, but out in front, Riley Smith. She's just holding that fastest time at the moment, looking across the 50s. She's gone out in a 30.62, gone a 33, then a 34 and the 33. So that 34, the only exception to the rule of keeping that consistent racing. And then we have Boozerville in second, Grub in third, and Brand just the tail end of this heat. So just going out, nice safe pace at this early stage of the race, but they will need to keep going if they're going to attract a fast time, because their times will be compared with the times tonight, and they will be collated on a ladder to see our rankings for our medal placings. And these swimmers all week swimming beautifully. It's a real art to get your pacing right in these distance races, but they're learning every single time, learning even from each other, taking a leaf out of the book from some of the other big swims that have been going on this morning and keeping their momentum going. At the moment, Riley Smith just coming down to touch now at the 350 metre mark, so almost halfway through.
So these girls are 17 and 18, so trying to strip a medal away from those ladies in tonight's final. They're showing that they belong here on the Gold Coast and at the Age Championships. Not going too wild yet. They'll wait a little bit longer as they just reach the halfway point. Quite a variable in all those times. So they sit between that 8:14, 8:13, 8:17, 9:14, 9:13 and 9:17. We've got two swimmers in that 8 range tonight, so Smith and Gasky.
So past the halfway mark in this 800 metres freestyle. And obviously we need to make sure that we think about tonight's race. It'd be great if we could have a 14 lane pool and have everyone integrated together, but we do have to separate them into the morning and night swim. But I'm sure these girls very happy to push themselves this morning to race. It wouldn't be hard to coerce them into setting some fast times this morning to put a bit of pressure on tonight's swim. But these girls definitely ones to look up to in these races. As they, we talked about what you did in the Emily Seebohm in the backstroke. You'd occasionally look up at the digital screen to see the timings, see the placings. Can't really do that here in the 800, but I'm sure they get the main gist of it as they're coming down. They look across the pool. There's only 3 of them to see. And they turn at the 550 mark, 350 metres until the finish. So now coming down to that 600 metre mark, so 3/4 of the race almost done. And Smith with a nice little lead, but Vuzzaville laying a bit of siege in this 100. She's made up a fair bit of ground on her. Not sure if it's enough to take over the lead yet. So Smith holding strong.
She turns through in that 6:49.22 at the 600 metre mark. Second position, Vuzzaville from lane 6. And Grab sitting in that 3rd spot currently from lane 5. The staff here have been fantastic at these championships, and so have our officials. And these swimmers trying to open the door on the final tonight, trying to make some moves. So really doing well of being able to hold on to this. So that management of this race has been fantastic as they try to flush out the best swim possible this morning. So Vuzzaville taking over that lead now, and she's certainly putting on a display here with Smith right next to her in that 2nd position. She's really trying to polish this 800 to the best it can possibly be, as they have now 100 metres to go. An extremely precious last 100. The possibility here is endless for these athletes if they can really fire to a great time here this morning. So remember those times being in contention for the medals. So not long left to go. They probably had breakfast this morning.
That fuel so important to get them over the line in this last 50 metres of this race. After, I'm sure a big bowl of cereal would definitely help them. So a great swim here from Vuzzaville with 100 to go. Smith still holding on to 2nd. Grave in for 3rd. Brand in for 4th. But with an eye on that finish line, it is Vuzzaville. She comes down to touch with a 9:05.08, a 9:07.40 for Smith. And now Grave in for a 9:12.30. These times just have to write them down, if you indulge me for a second, to write these down as we compare them. We'll have to compare them with tonight's times. Madison Brand coming in last, and Grave and Bouzeville, the St. Peter's teammates, just embracing each other before they head out of the pool. Imagine if you had to do that breaststroke, at least 800 freestyle. It's a long way.
Absolutely. As we reach the end of the morning, we're all blank here. As we move now to having a look at those finals tonight, we'll be back at 6 p.m. A fantastic morning session here at the pool. And we can't wait to be back. Bring it all back to you at 6 p.m. tonight. Live on 9 Now.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.